Welcome to the Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today we're going to do a little bit of a quasi fan request thing. Someone asked me to react to this, so I'm going to do it. It's Michael Tracey debating Sugar from Breaking Points. Sugar and Jetty talking about Epstein, and yeah, we're just going to react to this. I have not watched any of this at all, so I'm ready. But before I get started, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links you see in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. All of it is very much appreciated. Also, check out the Discord link if you want to join that. And talk some bullshit. Bullshit. All links in the description box. All right. I mean, who even needs an extra intro? Let's just go into this. I think we're aware of where Michael Tracey's at in regards to this discussion. I might be a little bit more interested in what Sugar has to say here, and if Magic 8 Ball interjects. So without further ado, let's watch it, let's react. Sugar versus Michael Tracey. Was Epstein an intel asset? Here we go.
Joining us now for a little friendly Epstein debate, friend of the show, Michael Tracey, independent journalist, and you can check him out over at mtracy.net. Great to see you, sir.
Always a pleasure.
Yes,
good to see you, Michael.
Absolutely. So I said this before,
headphones.
but even though like everybody knows I'm more on Saagar's side on this, but I'm going to try my best to play the role as neutral moderator so that we can have a one-on-one and you're not getting just like, teamed up on by both of us on this whole thing. But you recently wrote an article that takes apart some of what you described as the Epstein mythology. This is for Compact Mag. We can put this up on the screen. The headline here is the idiocy of the Epstein mythology, and you've been very vocal on Twitter now, X, as well, in taking apart what you see as some of the more tenuous theories surrounding Jeffrey Epstein. So before we dive in, I want to sort of level set with you, Michael, of like, what do you think is going on with Trump right now? Like, why is he acting the way that he is around Jeffrey Epstein and, ran on releasing the files, and now he's not going to release the files, and there are no files, and now, yes, there are files, but they were written by Obama, and screw you, and I don't even want you to be a supporter if you believe any of this nonsense. What is your assessment of, like, what is actually happening here?
Well, there's no doubt that the Trump administration has embroiled itself in a PR fiasco of its own making, I would argue. I slightly tongue-in-cheek say at the end of that article that I do think that there is a genuine trafficking conspiracy for people to get upset about. And it's that so many people in the Trump orbit trafficked in nonsense for the past several years, namely Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, etc., when they spent their time tantalizing their followers with these teases about how there was going to be some explosive revelation once the second Trump administration got in power and vanquished the deep.
Michael Tracey's laugh light didn't work.
What?
I didn't get the. It didn't say laugh on the screen below Michael Tracey's joke right there.
If that was you trying to follow up with a joke to look at this failed joke, I'll be wrecked. Also, that's the most concerned pause of all time. Oh my God! Pause. Your fucking Karen came out on that one.
The laugh track broke. The laugh track broke.
God. A long video. Here we go.
With these teases about how there was going to be some explosive revelation once the second Trump administration got in power and vanquished the deep state, and by natural extension of that, of course, the quote-unquote Epstein files would be released because it was the satanic, demonic Democrats who were, for some reason, covering up all the damning information to protect their donors and friends and allies, because Democrats in this Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Rumble universe imagination are perpetually covering for pedophilic sex trafficking networks. And Trump was occasionally asked about this when he would go around on these ass-kissing podcasts during the 2024 campaign. And if you go back and look at what he said, he would often be a little bit equivocal or non-committal. he would say, yeah, sure, maybe we'll look into releasing the Epstein files. But it wasn't as if Trump went around campaigning on this issue of his own volition.
Yes, he fucking did.
It's just that
It's fucking implied, dude. It's implied.
No, but he did. Michael Tracy's lying right there. Watch his rallies.
But it doesn't matter if he says, like, for me, it doesn't even matter if he says the words out loud. Like, you can see blatantly, like, leaning into it, and his fans are definitely of the belief that was going to be investigated. Yeah, for sure, we're under that belief. The ones that believe Trump, like that. So I don't care what the fuck he says out loud in words versus what's implied. All right, it's implied. Take down corruption and the evil Democrats, and they stole the election,
Here's
and
one thing.
Hillary's going to jail.
Here's,
And like,
here's one thing Trump said out loud. I'm going to open the investigation into Epstein when I'm elected.
I don't have that quote. I have not.
Verbatim. That's verbatim.
I'll take your word for it. I'm not personally, like, I'm not following his fucking campaign speeches and all that shit. So I don't know personally, but for me, it's like, it's just obviously implied. Just like end like the wars, the foreign policy, right? Like, oh, we're gonna end wars. I'm sure he said that, but if he didn't, it's still implied. That's what his audience is screaming for, like clear as day. These podcast guys that Michael Tracy's talking about, they're all implying that that's what these things are. That's what's gonna happen once this guy gets elected, or it has a chance of happening because of this guy getting elected, and that's the main reason why they would vote for him, right? Oh, it's gonna end World War III.
I wouldn't even say implied. I would say said 1,000 different ways.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
It's a major issue for his entire voting base. Like well, the whole yeah, this is a major issue. But Michael Tracy's the way he's talking, he seems to treat this whole thing as a joke.
Yeah, like,
And he's straight up lying. Right there, he's lying. On what he just said, he's lying.
I don't even think for like Trump MAGA people or whatever, initially they weren't even looking at it as like it's all Democrats. I think they're like it's a lot of bunch of politicians and rich people, famous celebrities are involved in this. It's not strictly Democrats.
Right, like, most of the hype came from the Q stuff, and they said, "Hey, look, there's gonna be a lot of Republicans too."
Yeah, like guys you guys call rhinos or whatever, right? Like a lot of those are like establishment Republicans would be caught. I'm sure Lindsey Graham was brought up several times, or Mitch McConnell or some shit like that, right? So like,
Yeah.
it was not exclusive to Democrats. So Michael Tracy, once again, I think just jumping the gun and trying to, it's like a fake reading of the mind or taking the temperature of where people are at. It's like just a lazy, like pretentious version of doing that. And that's why it comes out so incorrect about these things. He's like, oh, there's a bunch of dumb conspiracy theorists who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, no, there's a lot of people on also like actually looking at this thing now. Like, truly. But yeah, this video is just so everyone knows, this video is from a month ago. Although that's not even that far back. So he should be like caught up. Like, he has the same opinion now, let's be honest. So
well, recently he was talking about he was looking into this since June of this year, right? Like this is where he started digging into it. Like 6 years after Epstein's dead, he first was like, "Oh, what's going on here?" And he starts digging into it, and he's finding nothing.
That was
So
Whitney
he's the
Webb.
ambassador of the topic. Yeah, he's the ambassador of this topic.
No, but I thought it was like Whitney Webb stuff he started looking into recently versus the Epstein thing, and kind of as a whole. I'm sure that's very recent too. I don't know his timeline, to be honest, but whatever. All right, let's keep playing. Here we go. I'll be right back though. I'm gonna hit play. Here we go.
Part of the 2024 Republican campaign strategy, which I thought was very clever and effective, was to tailor a message to audiences who consume this kind of media, meaning the Joe Rogan network, and kind of related podcasts that I would argue have conspiracism as a sort of habit of mind or kind of soft ideology. Not that they're wrong about every conspiracy theory that they might believe in, but that's just sort of how they process information. It's like their epistemology. So
Michael,
these Republican campaigners had to tailor a message to these people, and Trump just kind of played along with it. And it was always, I think, going to blow up in their faces once the rubber hit the road and they were pressed to actually make good on these promises. But Trump himself really evaded the issue.
Let me just to be really clear what your position is, and I'll get Saagar to respond. Yeah. Do you believe there's no there with regard to young girls being trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to other powerful people, for example, Bill Clinton, potentially Donald Trump, potentially Bill Gates and others? You think there's no there with regard to those questions? And do you also believe there's no there with regard to potential intel connections, whether it's CIA or Mossad?
Yeah, so let me try to spell this out pretty carefully. I try to differentiate between what I've been referring to as Epstein mythology versus the actual factual record when it comes to Epstein. In the realm of mythology, there exists this belief, and correct me if you guys think I'm wrong, there exists this widespread belief that a pedophilic sex trafficking ring has been systematically covered up, and that Jeffrey Epstein orchestrated this pedophilic sex trafficking ring by trafficking minors to prominent third-party individuals, and then conducted a blackmail operation to coerce those individuals into silence or complicity or something. And the idea was that previously the Biden administration was maliciously covering up this information, again, to protect the likes of Bill Clinton or Bill Gates, etc. But now the idea is, shockingly, to the MAGA base, or the MAGA social media influencers anyway, which I'm not sure is totally synonymous with the base, but that's sort of another issue. Now, to their absolute shock, Donald Trump is apparently engaging in this very same cover-up. I would argue that the factual predicate for that assumption, which I think you guys will agree is extremely widespread, that's why people were so incensed about this issue, the factual predicate for that is—
Now, sure, well, there's a lot of guesses out there and all that shit, but I could see pockets believing in different things, like different portions of what you're saying there, right? Either way, they're still asking for the evidence, Michael. Whatever theory they come up with can be whatever theory they come up with. The point is, they want the fucking evidence about it. And what has been given to us? Bullshit fucking surveillance video? Documents of shit we already had? In fact, it was less than what we actually had in the first place? And
Pam Bondi arguing with herself from previous times. Pam Bondi talked.
Trump doing the same thing, right?
Yeah.
At one point, there's nothing here but child porn. At the next second, like, well, there is something here, but it's a Democratic hoax. So,
and we learned that Prince Andrew had a rare condition where he didn't sweat for a couple of years, but then he learned how to sweat again.
So I was like, you have victims coming out and saying things, and that never got their day in court, by the way, Michael. Right? They never got, because Epstein died before like a real trial could happen. So like they never got their actual day in court to get some sense of justice, or at least expose something. So yeah, they're asking for stuff too. Not all of them, but enough of them are asking. Meaning it's not some ploy to protect the victims, because you have victims coming out saying, "Yo, let's go over this shit," even after they got paid, Michael.
Michael doesn't care about that. What he cares about is what the official record says. The official record says that the guards for Epstein checked the cells every 15 minutes. And the official record also says that they were sleeping for several hours at the same time. Both of those things are true on the record.
I mean, why does he care so much about like what people are saying on the internet? Just go. Like, you should be asking for the evidence too, Michael, so you can disprove the fucking dumb conspiracy theorists, right? Don't you want that? But I'll be fair and let him get to the factual stuff. If you want to go ahead,
Bill
Dubster. Yeah,
Gates,
good.
Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, and what's the Barack guy's name? All hung out
Ehud
with him
Barak.
after he was all hung out with him after he was convicted of the first time, which was
Yeah.
which was what was the first what was the first time he was charged?
Like 2007 or 8 ish, right?
No, yeah, but what was the charges?
I think it was sex trafficking, and he got an immunity deal for everyone that was working with him.
So he is convicted of sex trafficking.
Yes,
They reduced it to prostitution.
but that was clearly like
Although
a
they were-
fucking bullshit trial. My bad,
Although
Jesse.
they were minors, they officially the record they dropped the charges to prostitution, even though
Which
they were
is
minors.
sex trafficking to any layman's term.
Yeah, and why is Ghislaine Maxwell getting extra, once again, favorable treatment again? She was in jail, right? In a real jail, right? And she was sentenced to 20 fucking years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why is she getting good shit now?
In her house now.
I need Michael to
What do you
explain
mean?
it to me.
We
She got-
20
she got
years.
moved
Is
to-
there news?
She got moved to a super minimum security prison, right? And I think they're floating around the idea of giving her like work release, like letting her like leave the prison.
With children? Or are they gonna make her babysitter?
Can you imagine? Fuck. All right, let's keep going because let's be fair and get to where he thinks the facts are at. Let's hear it. Here we go.
That the factual predicate for that assumption, which I think you guys will agree is extremely widespread. That's why people were so incensed about this issue. The factual predicate for that is not well established at all, or not nearly as established as you would think, given the confidence with which people assert the existence of that thing that they're so certain exists.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and let's go
on
ahead
the
and
intel thing. Okay.
let's go ahead and get Saagar in, and then we'll come back and can dig more specifically into
Well,
the intel.
Michael, first of
Wait,
all, I would point out that part of the
Am I wrecked here? Did I hear him where he went over the facts, the things that he believes are the factual things? Did I just
No,
mentally miss
he
that?
didn't have those. But if you listen
on.
to his thing, it's the facts are those rare points where they said he showed up for court and he was in court and that wasn't it. And that's the facts.
He said he said out the narratives, there's factual shit and there's bullshit, right? Did he give us the facts of it? Like,
Just his understanding of the myth.
no, but he said there are factual things. Didn't he say that in response to Crystal's question? I mean, Magic 8 Ball.
Well, that was his opening for her question.
Let's hear
he was
it.
gonna
I'm just gonna hit play and see if I
break the
hear
two sides
something.
apart.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit play. Here we go.
Another issue. Now, to their absolute shock, Donald Trump is apparently engaging in this very same cover-up. I would argue that the factual predicate for that assumption, which I think you guys will agree is extremely widespread. That's why people were so incensed about this issue.
All he said was
The factual predicate for that is not well established at all, or not nearly as
So none of it's
established
real.
as you would think, given the confidence with which people assert the existence of that thing that they're so certain exists.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and
and
let's
hold
go
on.
ahead
Intel thing.
Hit
let's go
pause.
ahead and get Saagar in, and
Did he just say, I believe JFK was killed by a magic bullet, 9/11 was done by 19 hijackers?
I'm not gonna go there.
And you should believe because OBJ Johnson said it, and then also George Bush said it on the second one.
I thought he was gonna go over like you just saying, and the factual predicate isn't even. It's kind of on shaky ground. I'm like, so he wasn't even a sex trafficker at all. Is that what Michael's saying? I don't fucking. All right, whatever. Let's hear Sugar's response. Here we go.
Then we'll come back and can dig more specifically into the intel.
Michael, first of all, I would point out that part of the reason that the quote-unquote factual predicate doesn't exist for what you're talking about is actually in existence, in my opinion, that if you look at the open source information for how so many of these prominent individuals dealt with Epstein, and then eventually the non-prosecution agreement that was eventually signed by Alex Acosta and Jeffrey Epstein, and eventually, of course, the Palm Beach County PD only bringing a case against him for solicitation
AKA
of
plea
prostitution
bargain.
actually proves that part of the reason why a lot of this
not a
stuff
sweetheart
doesn't
deal.
exist in the quote-unquote factual predicate and or DOJ documents is part of the reason why so much of this does not exist in court basis, etc. If you actually look at the information, I mean, I think Leslie Wexner is perhaps the best example for proving what you were talking about, where we have a actual high prominent individual in the year 1991, one of the only billionaires here in the United States of America, the richest man in Ohio, who gives power of attorney over to Jeffrey Epstein over his entire estate, transfers hundreds of millions of dollars worth of real estate over to him, to which Epstein then uses those properties, as you just pointed out in the factual predicate, as exists and points out in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, which, yes, is only about human trafficking between young women and Epstein himself, as in he is the sole person who is victimizing these women. That was on Wexner-related properties. That's a pretty direct example of where nobody, including Wexner himself, has ever been able to give an example of how exactly you had this extraordinary situation of signing over power of attorney. And in fact, Vicky Ward, James Stewart, the biographers who looked into this story say that many of the people around Wexner believe that it was a result of a blackmail operation. It's not that difficult to imagine that the founder of Victoria's Secret, which entails selling lingerie to teenage girls and surrounding yourselves with beautiful models and all of this, would be involved in some pretty sketchy behavior with a known pedophile of Jeffrey Epstein. So I think that's a pretty clear example, tracing all the way back from 1991, showing the ability to use and coerce, behavior, perhaps blackmail and others, to enrich himself. And also, I mean, we can get into the intelligence case now in the future, but exactly why so many people, I think rightfully, can point at an example like that and say, it's very clear if you look at that pattern that there is smoke there. Now, I agree, this has not yet been proven, but I would actually argue that the reason that it has not been proven is specifically to cover up the very type of behavior.
I mean, Michael. That was a lot that Sugar just said right there. I don't know, like, you look at that and you're like, okay, let's fucking dig into this fucking thing, right? Let's find evidence for it. Let's be honest. What Sugar should have said there is that the government is blatantly not showing us what's going on there. Like, they're not, like, did you investigate it, guys? Did you look into it? Is it just some internet thing that apparently smarter people figured out to, like, look into? Like, what's the deal? Like, what's the government's excuse for hiding this?
I saw where Michael Tracey kind of cracked a smile a little bit. Like,
Yeah, he's gonna say myth.
well, there's a lot of factual things that Saagar had mentioned about, like, well, he did give him this property, or sell him. I don't know the details, but he said he gave him this land, and that's where they had for Epstein's personal use, at least. That is well established that he was having sex with many minors, and so those things are established facts. But when he brought up the point where he's suggesting that it's probably due to blackmail is how this situation was set up, that's when Michael Tracey kind of cracked a smile, because we don't have proof of that. There could have, whatever the reasons that the arrangements were made, we don't know. Like, if it's a whole different thing, if it is an intelligence thing, we don't know, and that wouldn't require blackmail, right? Like, something's there, but we don't have any idea what
So
that is.
I've always heard until what Sugar just said, that Les Wexner gave the property to Epstein for $100 or $1 or something. But now what he said, he gave him power of attorney over the properties. So maybe that's what they're referring to, is whatever the cost of filing power of attorney. fee is equivocally the price that Epstein paid for Lex Wexner's property is.
Yeah.
Whatever the filing costs are for power of attorney.
Yeah, and then before I play, it's pretty obvious, but like the obvious overall point of Sugar is that like there's all this fucking information here. It like you'd have to be like an idiot or purposely subverting the story to not be like, damn, is there more to this? Is there something going on here? Right? He called it smoke, right? And it's like, what the like, what's going on here? And if Michael poo-poos that, unless he had like,
He's a
unless he has
character.
like, well, if he has blatant
Yeah.
like, I guess contradicting evidence or something, fine. But if he doesn't have that, and he just says, but
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to sit here and just believe these, Trump MAGA Pizzagate believer people. If he does something like that, bro,
He's a
like you're a
character.
fucking fraud. Like you're a fraudulent.
Yeah, he's a character.
Like this is
He-
something
he's an op.
beyond. It's something other than Epstein. That's actually getting to Michael. I think at that point. Not saying he's like sus in the sense of like, Fed or op or some shit like that. I'm just saying in the sense of like, maybe it's pride or something or some sort of pathology, to where he needs this story to not be a thing. There's too much conspiracy theories, and I'm a real journalist. I'm the real deal. I'm tired of these internet dweebs taking over my job. Like something like weird like that. But who knows? Let's hear Michael's.
Well, he was also shitting on Whitney and
Yeah.
mocking her so much that it could also go into a pride thing with just or whatever you would call when you reinforce your previous statements.
Well, he's trying to. It seemed like he was trying to, and I'm exaggerating here, but it looked like he was trying to like kind of shut down Whitney Webb's take on all of this because of like spelling errors. I know his thing wasn't spelling errors, that he had a problem with Whitney Webb's work, but it was like that, like kind of like minute to me as far as the overall story that's being told. And it's just like, you're going on this crusade for that? Like, what the fuck? That's why, like, I'm not there yet, but sometimes I start thinking, like, is this pathological from this guy? Is it something beyond just doing journalism? Where it's like something in his mind or in his psyche or in his heart that's bothering him, and that's why he's doing what he's doing. But whatever. Let's get back to this. Let's hear Michael's response to what Sugar just said.
Well, that some people around Wexner may have believed, as you put it, that there was some potential explanation for Epstein's inheritance of this wealth that had to do with blackmail is not a proven factual predicate for anything.
Well, nobody's saying that, but
that's worth looking into, Michael. It's not proof of anything. The point is to look for more evidence. You fucking idiot. What the fuck is wrong with him?
There is proof. There is proof outlined in there.
He was going to poke holes at
the power. Lex Wex.
Did he deny anything that Sugar just said? Did he deny anything he said? I don't think so, right?
Lex Wex gave Epstein power of attorney.
He's basically pointing out that
proven.
There was space in his argument that because of that one point.
Is he saying not look into it because?
Everything.
Is he saying not look into it because it could be something else? That's not good
even talking
enough.
About looking into it. He's not even. That's the thing. He is not talking about looking into anything. He's talking about we don't have proof of these things. That's what he's talking about.
I'm wrecked.
That's his whole argument.
Right, but we do have proof of the power of attorney given to Epstein from Lex Wex. We do have that proof.
That'd be on record, straight up.
Yeah, but that is not like a crime to do it, right? Like that's
no, you're right. But it could be part of a crime, could it not?
It's enough smoke.
Yeah,
I would say.
But you don't have.
It's enough.
You don't have proof of any crime. You don't know. You don't have it. There's nothing. Like I would even like that one point also stood out to me out of Saagar's argument. Of course, there's all the other things he said, but this is Michael Tracey's strategies, maneuvering to not like just talk about the whole thing. He's just saying what's proven. What that's all he's focusing on.
I hope it's not strategy. I hope not, because that'd be really creepy to me. But
Well, that's his aim. Like very clearly from his arguments, that is his aim to just stand on what's proven. He's not looking for investigation. Like he's not. He's never. I haven't heard him push for that during these discussions.
All right. I want to apologize to the audience because I do pause at weird moments and a lot. I pause a lot. But sometimes I hear things I just get fucking tilted and I gotta yell something. So if you don't like it, just give me a thumbs down like you normally do and walk away. But whatever. I'll try to be better, but I don't think I can hold back, bro. Sometimes people say some stupid fucking shit and it has to be like just said how stupid it fucking is. Anyways, here we go.
Explanation for Epstein's inheritance of this wealth that had to do with blackmail is not a proven factual predicate for anything.
Well, nobody's saying that, but by that point, we're not supposed to take any reporting. You know, at the end of the day, you have a multi-billionaire who signs over power of attorney for his entire estate and hundreds of millions of dollars of real estate, and it's because he thought he was a money genius. That does not happen.
I acknowledge that there are aspects to this story that are non-mythological in the sense that they really do raise questions about the mystery surrounding how he garnered his wealth and so forth. But let me give one example that I don't think has adequately penetrated the popular consciousness, nor has it been adequately covered on alternative media, maybe including this very show. Virginia Giuffre, who I think you'll agree, if you've studied this case, which I assume that you have, is the central figure who spawned the widespread belief that there had to have been this pedophilic sex trafficking network because in late 2014, she issued a court filing in which she alleged that she had been sex trafficked to a myriad of prominent third-party individuals, like Prince Andrew, like the former majority leader of the United States Senate, George Mitchell, like the former governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson, and other people. And then she also made a categorical claim that she had been trafficked to like unnamed prime ministers and other people of prominence around the world. Yeah. That's what really spawned it. And I just don't think it's disputable that Virginia Giuffre was a serial fabulist. I know people don't want to hear that. I know whenever I've commented on this subject anywhere on the internet, 95% of the comment sections are against me and they think that I'm covering up for pedophiles or something as though I love pedophilia and that's why I'm making this argument. That's not the case. Virginia Giuffre, per the factual record, was a serial fabulist. I'm sure you know, Saagar, that she accused Alan Dershowitz.
Yes, I do.
Of having been one of the third-party individuals to whom she was trafficked. She made this accusation adamantly under the cover of the litigation privilege for nearly a decade. Then by 2022, because Dershowitz actually had the resources and the motivation to pursue this charge against him or to dispute it to the point of a settlement, she then had to retract and recant this signature claim that she had been making for 10 years almost, that very much animated the media coverage around this issue. She withdrew it. She totally obliterated her own credibility. And then sure enough, in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial of 2021, she was not even called as a witness by the prosecution because she would have been a nightmare under cross-examination because so many of the things, the most salacious claims that she made around this story just do not stand up to basic scrutiny. You can even find examples of her signing on to like literal hoaxes in terms of these creeps who came out the woodwork claiming that they had the video footage of illicit sexual activity in Epstein's properties. And then Giuffre's own attorneys, David Boies, who, by the way, made a killing on this whole issue. That's another thing we could get into, how basically the Epstein matter has subsidized the South Florida bar and all these feeding frenzy lawyers who have made a killing. But
I would argue the money went the other way, Michael. But yeah, continue.
All right. I'll hit a pause there. Go ahead, Dubster, if you want to say it. Yeah.
Okay, so his whole argument is a part of her story she settled and changed on Dershowitz. So that means she retracted everything she said somehow?
I'll be real with you, Dubster. I'm not falling for this fucking trick because this is weird. I think was it Panda? Panda recommended this video, I think. I think it was him or Silver. Or her. Him or her. Whatever. They recommended this video, and it leans right into the things that I look for. Once again, I'm not a fucking factoid, look at all the stats, the fucking, all the appendices and fucking books and encyclopedias. I'm not that guy. I talk shit for the most part. And I go off of, like, my sense of psychology, philosophy, spirituality. I go off of that shit. So when I hear a question like, well, Leslie Wexner and, power of attorney and $100 million fucking mansion, and he gave it all to fucking Epstein and all this stuff. And the answer to that statement or question is, well, Virginia Giuffre, she's full of shit. Her case doesn't work out.
Well,
it's not real. That breaks my fucking
Also-
brain. What is, like, no, hold on, Dubster. That makes quite, like, that, for me, puts Michael Tracey in the question. It really does. That logic right there, where he asked you about one thing, you didn't answer the fucking question, and you moved on to someone else to say, like, here's why the case is bullshit. It's bullshit because of Virginia Giuffre. But he asked you about Leslie Wexner. So what the fuck?
Well, we have
incredible.
jumped ship, and then here we are now. So Virginia Giuffre, she settled on Dershowitz. Doesn't mean she retracted on anybody else.
I
Unless she
agree,
did.
but did he not just pivot
Hold
away
on,
from what
hold
was being
on.
said?
There's more. There's more. She settled, which means there is an NDA, and we don't know what is in the settlement. I'm guessing money. Maybe she considered the amount of money worth changing her story at least partially.
Yeah, well,
Meaning whatever you want it to mean. I'm not even going to speculate because the idea is there. It could go any which way with a
Yes.
settlement because you and I never see the settlement details, and that's why it's a settlement.
yes, I agree. That leaves you kind of, in a way, nowhere. But it's worth looking into. But it kind of leads you nowhere because she could be, like, potentially, she could be lying, thus to get that money,
So
or they could have
she's
paid her to
hiding.
shut up. Meanwhile, she had the truth. Yeah, good.
Michael Tracey now is citing mythology
Well, he's citing something.
because he doesn't know.
No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
Doesn't. Yeah.
But he's pointing
He
to,
doesn't know the details of the settlement.
yes. And like his point about Giuffre, Virginia Giuffre, I agree with you. That's not legitimate enough of evidence for something. It's like, oh, they're all gold diggers. That's why, like Michael, did Michael have like a recent breakup or something? They just take your money. That's what they do. Is that where he's at? But either way,
And how
he
dare,
was
and how dare a lawyer get paid?
Yeah, Sugar was talking about fucking Wexner. And he just pivoted right to
I'm going
Giuffre.
with Michael Tracey. I'm going with Michael. Like it's his game to fucking play. So
No, you like in actual honest discussion, when someone asks you about something, you don't just pivot to absolutely something else different to discredit the story as a whole, right? That's the whole point of bringing up Virginia Giuffre, is to discredit the story at whole, right? But someone just brought up evidence
but he
that
doesn't.
that shows like something's, as the dumb fuck duck would say, something smelly in a deli, right? Sugar just brought that up. Like, yo, there's something smelly here with this Wexner guy, and there's been no questioning about him. Officially, no questioning, no subpoenas, no nothing with this fucking guy. And Michael's like, well, what about
I
Virginia
get that.
Giuffre? That's insane.
I get that, but if somebody's gonna shuffle to the left, I'm gonna go right there with them and still stick on them like a corner. You know what I'm saying? Fine, we're here now.
Pause, but I
So-
understand. I understand that. It's just, I'm trying to, once again, it's not just the factoids I'm looking at. I look at, like, what would drive someone to just essentially change, not topics, but change like the direction we're going, like just suddenly just change it like that. What would drive someone to do that? That's what I'm looking at. I'm like,
They're
okay,
losing.
what the fuck's going on with you, Michael Tracey? What is that?
Yeah. They can't touch this part of it.
And what does that say when someone does that when they're quote unquote losing, and they're supposed to be some sort of acclaimed journalist, the real type of journalist? What does that say about him? That says a lot to me. Something worthy of looking into, actually. As much as an Epstein
I got
story.
2 letters for you. OP.
I'm not going there. Once again, I bring up the possibility of it being like a prideful thing, or his idea of what journalism's supposed to be, or some shit like that. Or maybe it's like jealousy of people getting clicks and views and money from talk about the story in a more conspiratorial way. Whatever. Maybe that's his fucking beef. I say fine, but that is pathological to do. It is.
I never heard of this guy 2 months ago, and then now he's on the fucking news.
I've heard of him for years. You watch Liberty Daly and Infowars, so I don't want to hear about not hearing about Michael Tracey. It's not going to work here. But anyways, all right. Let's keep going. Here we go.
Goes both ways, but the defense attorneys concocted a whole strategy where
it goes both ways.
The South Florida bar and all these feeding frenzy lawyers who have made a killing. But
I would argue the money went the other way,
Vir-
Michael. But yeah, continue.
Yeah, it goes both ways, but the defense attorneys concocted a whole strategy whereby they would extract enormous payouts for themselves.
Well, okay,
given the toxicity of the situation.
Virginia Giuffre, she's one victim. She's a very troubled individual.
Last point.
Yeah.
Virginia Giuffre made millions of dollars. She
That
had a
doesn't
life of
mean
luxury
she's wrong.
as a result of her deciding to become this professional victim. That was her full-time job. She launched this scam NGO. I thought the right was supposed to be skeptical of NGO networks.
What is Virginia Giuffre doing right now, Michael? Do you know how it ended up?
She's deceased.
Yeah, that's right.
She's deceased.
Yeah, because her life ended
because she was a very troubled, unstable, and unreliable person.
Look, it's not denied.
Wow. This is so like, ew. Who's this sweaty dweeb with the Walkman headphones on? Who the fuck is this guy? Fuck. Who are you? The fuck, dude? Who the fuck is this full-blown dweeb fuckface? Who the fuck is this guy? Get the sorry, I got nothing but curse words for him. No logic needed for his stupid fucking statements. Idiot. Here we go. Fucking dummy.
She's pictured there with
Big
Prince
smart
Andrew,
guy,
but to paint it
dumb fuck.
only as a
just your fucking
Virginia
glasses,
Giuffre is one of the
Poindexter.
only people that is saying this
Dweeb.
is just not accurate. Part of the reason
She
why
wasn't integral to the story?
She was absolutely integral to the coverage, and largely it was because of the photo, which you're not going to deny, I hope, of her picture with Prince Andrew, which is literally what got him removed from his public duties as a member of the British royal family. Clearly, they believe.
I mean, how does that happen unless he admitted behind closed doors of some weird stuff? If I had to guess. And maybe the PR was just that
Michael
bad.
Tracey is right now.
Maybe the PR was just that bad, but let's hear Michael's response to that. Here we go.
At least in some part, that Prince Andrew was involved in some pretty sketchy behavior there was his relationship with Epstein. But
What was that? Jesse?
The prince is the victim.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. Fucking dweebo.
What got him removed from his public duties as a member of the British royal family. Clearly, they believe, at least in some part, that Prince Andrew was involved in some pretty sketchy behavior there was his relationship with Epstein. But even let's step back further.
Yeah, the royal family was coerced through the tsunami of horrible PR that they were subject to.
What do you mean horrible
stemming
PR?
Stemming in part from that 2019 BBC interview.
Whoa, he really is.
How do you just
really
assume that?
Prince Andrew's a victim.
How do you assume that?
I didn't know Jesse was accurate. Prince Andrew's the victim? Wow.
Like, you could say it, but how do you just confirm that? Like, oh, they were getting swarmed with PR, like bad PR, so they, try to hide them from the public. How do you just assume that? Where's the journalistic rigor, Michael? Where'd that go all of a sudden? Huh? He's like a fucking weirdo to me right now, bro. Like, you're a weird motherfucker, bro. I don't know what his deal is, bro, but it's something not kosher, if you will. Weird shit. All right, here we go.
Family was coerced through the tsunami of horrible PR
He confirmed it.
that they were
They
subject
were
to.
coerced.
Stemming in part
Why
from
is this
that
guy
2019
hanging out
BBC
with
interview.
a convicted sex offender, and in this case, with a 17-year-old girl with his arm around her? That's not acceptable behavior, not just for a British royal family.
He wasn't even a convicted sex offender at the time that photo was purportedly taken.
You're right. It's routine to be hanging out with 17-year-old women and to take photos with them.
Wait, was he a convicted sex offender at the time that photo was purportedly taken?
I'd have to check the date on what it is. But
he wasn't. It was taken purportedly in 2001.
Okay, so again,
he was not a convicted sex offender
at that time. So you're saying then in that case that...
What? So like...
He's saying that the guy who was convicted later on, and he had 2 counts that he pled guilty to. There was several dozen women, or not women. They were from like ages 14 to like teenager years, and so this is well known, and obviously, from the time he gets convicted, those things happen before the conviction, right? They don't happen after the conviction. So he was doing this activity until he got caught, right?
This guy is saying, like, as the knife is 1 inch away from Nicole's chest, he's like, well, OJ's not a convicted murderer. As he's driving the knife down, he's 1 inch away from hitting the fucking chest. He's not convicted yet. He's not convicted of anything. What are you talking about? Actually, that would be an interesting question.
He's just driving his Bronco. He's just driving his Bronco. 40 cops are following him. Not convicted.
I mean, I wonder what Michael's take on O.J. Simpson is. I'm very curious. How about the Jinx?
Yeah, there's something very
Remember the
unique about this
Jinx?
story.
Remember that guy, Robert
Okay.
Durst? I wonder what he thought about that when he's like, well, he's not convicted, so he... Like, that doesn't mean he's innocent, Michael. That's why you do investigations for, Michael.
Listen to why Michael's defending with Sugar drawing it out. Oh, it was 2001 when he took the picture with the 17-year-old. How old was he?
How old was he?
50?
A fucking old man.
Yeah,
Gray hair. Gray hair and shit.
Right? So, anybody else in here hanging out with putting your arm around a 17-year-old at your age, 40? Our age, 40? I'm not doing that.
I mean, my niece, or if I'm a celebrity, my niece's friend, or my daughter's friend, right? That makes sense, but I'm pretty sure she's a complete fucking stranger to that guy. And does a 17-year-old from fucking Florida know who Prince Andrew is? I don't think anyone knew who the fuck Prince Andrew was until this thing,
And
this
like I
story
said,
came out.
Did Virginia
What was she doing
Giuffre
at the
retract
house?
her? Did Virginia Giuffre retract her Prince Andrew claims? Oh, no, she did.
Like, if that was Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson or some famous celebrity person, even Bill Clinton, that would make sense. But who the fuck is Prince Andrew? She's like, oh my God, you're Prince Andrew. I need to get a picture with you. I don't believe
In fact,
that.
I learned about Prince Andrew from this. Never heard of him before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, but, like, here's the thing. Michael's, like, not just, like, he's confirming that, this is, like, oh, they just want money, or this is just bad PR. That's why he got, taken out of the public eye, like, on and so forth. He wasn't he wasn't doing any pedophilic actions because he wasn't convicted for a crime yet. Like, what reality do you fucking live in? Are you
Michael
that?
Tracey's effectively
no one's that
a part
stupid,
of the
right?
cover up now. He's a part
He
of the
wasn't
cover
caught
up.
yet.
He's
He
like
wasn't
giggling
caught yet,
through
so
it
he
too.
was
No one's this
innocent.
stupid, right?
Yeah.
No one's this fucking dumb.
He's doing that a lot.
He's a fucking
Laugh.
weird. You're getting like a fucking weirdo, bro. Like an actual weirdo. Maybe you're right, Dubster. Maybe he's in the fucking transcript somewhere, bro. And I got this dumb fuck, Michael Tracey, to cover up everything I'm doing. Like quoting Epstein. This dumb fuck, Michael Tracey. Yeah, no one likes him.
Well, he's acting as part of the cover up. That's for whatever reason.
It's like bizarre. But all right, here we go.
Prince Andrew, the member of the
Shout out to anyone who recommended this video, by the way, or whoever. I think it was Panda. Shout out to you. Maybe it was Silver. Whatever. All right, here we go.
At the time that photo
I'd
was
have,
taken?
I'd have to check the date on what it is. But
he wasn't. It was taken purportedly in 2001.
Okay, so again,
he was not a convicted sex
so
offender
you're saying
at that
then
time.
in that case that
So
Prince
what?
Andrew, the member of the British royal family, did not have access to the global elite in which people like Donald Trump could say on the record in 2002, before Jeffrey Epstein is convicted as a sex offender, in which he can say, Jeffrey, he likes them young, in which is an open secret, literally among the jet set class, that this type of behavior is acceptable to Harvey Weinstein and to everybody else. This is open out from Vanity Fair reporting, from a quote from Donald Trump himself. That's our current president. But beyond that, it is an open
Donald
secret.
Trump said that Jeffrey Epstein is a great guy and he tends to like the company of young women or something like that.
He likes
so does
them
that
young.
prove that Donald Trump is a sex offender?
No, I didn't say that he proves he's a
So
sex
what does it
offender.
prove?
What I'm saying is that it's open knowledge that Epstein routinely is seen and is pictured with young women at that time. By the way, and let's continue this, and this is why.
So was Donald Trump.
But pegging this entirely on Virginia Giuffre,
18
again,
now?
is not accurate. And I think
It doesn't help Donald Trump.
She's the
No,
one
it
who's
is not, because again, the photo of her with Prince
watch
Andrew.
any of these
Hold on,
Netflix
Michael.
documentaries,
Let Saagar
HBO.
finish.
It's
It made-
always Virginia
what?
Giuffre
Let Saagar
front and
finish.
center. They
It made it front and
they
center
never ever
because of
claimed
the
that she was
photo.
They never ever qualify any of their coverage by noting that she has a proven, demonstrable record of serial fabulism.
Okay,
would you concede that she's a serial fabulist?
I would concede that she was a
She's
troubled
fabulous.
individual who clearly, at
A
this
serial
point,
fabulist.
from the way that her attorneys and others have acknowledged that she did make up some facts, and I do think
So she
that
made up
reflects.
her
Yeah,
most
that's right.
grandiose
I agree.
claims.
I'm
She
not
was the
relying
signal
all of this
accuser.
on Virginia Giuffre. That's my point. I have a much broader amount of evidence to point, and this is also where I think it kind of
So you
gets
don't
at.
think conceding that the most high-profile accuser, who was integral in the claim of a sex trafficking ring, insofar as her claim was that she was sex trafficked to prominent third-party individuals. I'm not contesting that Epstein himself was a sexual predator. I mean, he's on the record saying that he rejects that there should be any kind of taboo against, post-pubescent women of any age or girls of any age being accessible to men for
are you using that
impregnation. I mean, he had bizarre and creepy and depraved beliefs around sexual relations with minors.
So,
I'm
Michael,
not
let me-
So now we're
But
using quotes
it's
instead
okay.
of.
But hold on, take that quote for what it was. When was that quote made? And then who hung out with him later?
It's just like
That should be rest your case right there.
it's like, yo, Michael, what were the sex trafficking charges for then? Was it all just salacious fucking gossipy shit that
Right.
made this all happen? If that's the case, but you're still using them as an authority for why. Well, Virginia Giuffre, she was not trafficked. She was just she was there for money when she was, under 18. She was there for money the whole time. She worked in
He's
Trump's
using
spa
them.
on purpose to get recruited by Jeffrey Epstein on purpose to win some money decades later. Come on.
And he's citing the most well-known person of the whole Epstein saga from 2014, but it was known in 2000 that he was convicted of being a prostitution, and that
Prostitution
was
with a minor. Yeah.
which was dropped down from sex trafficking.
Yes.
So how are you cite later date as more important than the beginning.
His logic is the stupidest thing I think I've ever heard on any topic. Like he sounds that stupid right now. All of it sounds ridiculous. He wasn't convicted of anything back then. It's like, well, like when drug dealers get caught by the cops, right? Are you telling me that's their first day of drug dealing? It was their very first day and they got caught that day. Or were they probably doing it all this time beforehand, but weren't convicted of it yet, Michael? Who the fuck is this idiot? Fuck, bro.
He's maneuvering. He's there's no. This is like a debate or something. Like there's no looking for truth here. He's picking details to portray the best side of one side of like a criminal court. Like he is basically acting as a lawyer. Is the way he's structuring his arguments. He's
It's
like, I'm going to
fucking
talk about this.
bizarre.
I'm going to talk about these, and I'm just going to drill these points. Like
Look,
that's like a lawyer
reasonable
or a
doubt.
politician.
Yeah, he's looking for reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
Is he on a crusade that conspiracies don't exist? Like people don't get together and do harmful things together? Is that what he's trying to go for? Like, no,
Well,
the
he's
world
saying
is
this
exactly
conspiracy-
what it was told to be. Like a whining child. Like the world is what it can't be outside of that. It has to be exactly the way I believe the world to be. Like a little child almost. The way he's like coming off as like.
Okay, he's coming off like this conspiracy is unfounded.
Because
There should
the
be
world doesn't
no-
work that way. I think that's his actual core belief that he's trying to use. Like, no, everything is understandable,
Which
and it's all in a newspaper
which
somewhere.
makes me think like he would be the fucking guy defending the Warren Commission. Look, the government
before-
said this is what happened.
Before this video and the
Therefore,
Shapiro
this is what
video,
happened.
yeah, before this video and the Shapiro video, I would have said, no way. Like, I wouldn't, like, not knowing his work so well, but I'd be like, nah, Michael Tracey isn't like that. But after watching the Shapiro video and watching 17 minutes of this one, I get out of the way. Like, yeah, go ahead, answer that question, Michael Tracey. Dubster just posed a statement about your character or you're questioning your reasons for what you're doing. I'm not getting in the way. I won't say, nah, Michael Tracey wouldn't do that. I can't say that. Based on the things I've heard this fucking idiot say.
How'd the World Trade 7 building collapse, Michael Tracey?
Building fires. All right. Here we go. Let's continue.
Contesting that.
Let me
I'm
ask you-
contesting this third-party sex trafficking ring that forms the basis
let me ask
of why
you,
people
though.
are so outraged now about something purportedly being covered
let
up.
me ask you.
And
Let
all
me
these
ask you a
elites
question,
getting away
though.
with things.
Let me ask you a question about this, Michael. How do you explain the deal he was able to cut down in Florida with Alex Acosta,
It
who goes
wasn't
on
a
to be
sweetheart.
Trump's labor secretary, who was U.S. attorney at the time, which led to him serving, I believe, 13 minutes in a county jail where the jail cell was open, where he was able to go to his office for 12 hours a day. Afterwards, he's released. There's significant reporting that indicates even, after he was supposed to be on home confinement, he's flying around, he's doing what he wants to do. That deal was so sort of
Pablo
outlandish
Escobar.
that actually a judge came in and said, you violated the rights of victims. This deal was actually technically illegal. And not only did it provide for, very cushy deal and very low-level charge, ultimately for Jeffrey Epstein, it
Let's
also
hear this answer.
indicated that none of his potential co-conspirators could be charged whatsoever. So how do you explain this person getting such an incredibly cushy deal at that point, and a deal again that allows any even theoretical co-conspirators off the hook, which is it's so extraordinary that even Ghislaine Maxwell now is appealing to the Supreme Court saying, hey, I should have been part of that deal. What am I in prison for since the government said no co-conspirators could ever be indicted or found guilty of anything?
Good
I'm
luck,
just
Michael.
not sure why people think it's such a profound mystery that a wealthy individual, whatever the source of his wealth, and I agree that if possible, a more forensic audit should be done of how he acquired his wealth. But obviously he had the means to hire a dream team of lawyers to come and negotiate with the government on his behalf. He brought in Alan Dershowitz, who had just participated in securing an acquittal for O.J. Simpson. He brought in Ken Starr to make a federalism argument to federal prosecutors, arguing that the offenses for which Epstein was accused were fundamentally state-level crimes and did not enter the purview of federal prosecutors on that ground because the federal prosecutors couldn't establish that there was trafficking across state lines or some other element that would place the crime in their purview. Were these technical arguments? Sure. But, you know, if you want to make this a scandal about wealthy people having access to powerful lawyers who can maybe get them a more lenient non-prosecution agreement than the average person would have access to, I'd be all on board with that. But it seems that people just immediately launch into the explanation that he must have been some kind of intelligence asset or agent. And just to touch on that for a moment.
But before he goes into that, I like he jumps to a conclusion there, right? That like, oh, his lawyers are just so good that they got him off on this case. Like, but he's not even considering the idea. Like, I thought for a second he might have like leaped to like he's rich, so he can pay people off or something. Like, he can't even go there, right? Because that means the system's corrupt. Thus, you have to investigate. But either way, shouldn't Michael Tracey be like, yo, let's actually investigate that one then? But he seems like he's saying like, dust your hands off, job done. What the official statements are what actually happened in reality. This guy's a fucking idiot, dude. He's so stupid.
So, I don't think he will, but he's not done talking yet. But address her bigger point of saying, we got the deal for his co-conspirators. How are you going to address that, Michael?
He's going to say Epstein's lawyers were that good. That's his argument right now.
Then that's admitting that there were co-conspirators.
Bro, if someone has all this evidence against them at a crime scene, all right?
Yes, there were
and they leave and they're like, I didn't do it. And they say, well, a Ninja Turtle did it. And then somehow, because of their lawyers being so awesome, that they actually use that in court and it works. Michael Tracey is saying he would not investigate that. Even if it looks fishy. Like, wait a minute. Well, we saw it in court. Ninja Turtle showed up and killed that guy, and then this other guy's innocent.
I just want Michael Tracey right now to admit there's co-conspirators in his first case, and then tell us there's no co-conspirators.
I'm wrecked, dude. Alan Dershowitz is so fucking good at his job that when a judge and Jerry, whoever the fuck, prosecutors, they could make their career off of getting this filthy rich billionaire guy, like, they can make a career off of that, couldn't they? They could be like, yo, I'm now the top fucking lawyer. I got this bigwig motherfucker. You're telling me they agreed with some sort of plea deal to
and Ken Starr pointed out he didn't cross no borders. Those chicks didn't cross no borders. He raped locals.
Fuck. Like, that's Michael's argument.
Great lawyer. Great lawyer. That gets you 13 months in jail and only on weekends.
These lawyers are so fucking good. Apparently.
Yeah, you can rape locals and get the best deal in the world as long as you got good lawyers.
I mean, wouldn't the idea be of like even a plea deal is that they actually do have evidence on you that if they push further, they'd wreck your shit, right?
There's
Not
two
always,
reasons why. Yeah, there's a couple reasons why they will do a plea deal. Maybe they don't think they have a solid case,
but they want a guilty charge.
Maybe they realize you have so much money, this would take 10 years to convict you. And the prosecutor is political, and he can't afford this to look bad for him.
Damn, it'd be crazy if there was like someone that titles himself as a journalist to go look into it. Like, man, how'd you get this deal? Go interview Dersh. Like, you're on the side of there's nothing here. So Dershowitz might like you, right? Because of your arguments. So
And
maybe you can get some answers from him. But
if
Michael's
a
like, nah, nothing
prosecutor
to see
fall-
here. Nothing to
if a
see.
prosecutor falls below 97% conviction rate, they're fired.
Well, there's a whole bunch of circumstantial things that are just like, but it's like, I think it's beyond circumstantial. I think, honestly. I think what Michael's doing is like thin circumstantial evidence for, like very thin for how that deal played out. Like very, very thin. He's on like a crusade to
Oh.
prove like there's nothing here.
Just the simple logic of if an average Joe rapes someone, an adult, a man rapes an adult woman, he's getting how much? What's the bare minimum for Florida? Because there's a bare minimum for Florida.
Yeah.
Now stack 250 names on it that are fucking blacked out on how many people this guy raped.
Yeah.
Oh, and you and I, we can pull up the court documents, but all we're gonna see is a bunch of blackout.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have open court in this country for a fucking reason.
No. Epstein has really good lawyers.
That's it. They know they brought blackout markers.
The greatest argument of all time. Well, Epstein had good lawyers. It's like, are they that good? I'm sure OJ can afford whatever lawyers fucking Epstein has. I mean, it actually did
And the
work for him,
prosecutors,
but it was obvious he was guilty.
the prosecutors never were found with the famous quote that was, "Lay off of him. He's intel." That
Well,
never happened.
Michael has, according to him, debunked that notion too. I mean, everything's debunked. All of it is. And instead of getting extra clarity on it, Michael's saying we shouldn't look into it at all. It's all clarified already. Like, okay, then re-clarify it for, like, why not just do that, Michael Tracey? Why not have the administration just re-clarify? Like, it should be easy work. You already have all the documents, right? Just re-showcase that shit. Why not just do that? And you're good. Epstein had great
What did
lawyers.
they mean? What did they mean?
Epstein
Ken
killed
Starr
himself.
got him. Ken Starr said he didn't human trafficking anybody. It's fucking Miami. These people come there on their own, right? Is that what they mean? Like they're from other states, but he didn't bring them across the straight lines.
I'm sure it's, yeah. I'm sure
It's probably play on words like that.
It probably is. I agree. I think it's probably something like that, just from my own opinion. But does the court document say that? If it doesn't say that, then like the court documents is what reality is, according to Michael
Court
Tracey.
documents don't say anything.
No,
They don't say
it's
shit.
reality.
Michael Tracey can't read through the blackout either.
It's reality, bro. It's reality.
Oh, he was there. He's the one journalist that was there. Okay.
No, he wasn't there and didn't pay attention to the story. But after looking at the documents 10 years later or
That
something,
no one else can see.
yeah, he looks back and he says, "You know what? There's the documents. It's proven now."
Oh, okay.
This fucking idiot. This fucking guy, bro. Here we go. Here's more from Dumb Fuck Tracey. There we go.
You know, Saagar, I'm not trying to personally attack you
No,
on
it's
this.
fine. You
I
can
happen
if
to
you
see.
want.
I saw a
Hey,
clip
no one's
going
afraid of you,
around
Michael.
last
Go
week
ahead
of
if
you
you
on
want to.
Tucker's show,
Right.
in which you asserted that
Which I
Alex
corrected,
Acosta
by the way.
said,
I corrected that quote.
Okay, maybe you corrected it, but I'm just like, but a lot of people have repeated this quote.
Okay.
That derives from a 2019 Vicky Ward article in which she's quoting or she's attributing this quote from Alex Acosta from several years before 2019 when he's in a meeting with Trump transition officials. And according to Vicky Ward, a former Trump senior Trump administration official, which sounds a lot like Steve Bannon's blowing smoke. We don't know that with 100% certainty. By the way, why is Steve Bannon sitting on 16 hours of
I think
raw,
we can all
uncut
agree
We're all
Epstein
with you there.
footage?
We're all with you
Okay.
there. Yeah.
Okay, and why was he strategizing with Epstein about
I've heard some of
how
that.
he
by the way.
could present himself for a media interview with 60 Minutes? But anyway, that we'll leave that aside for the moment. But that quote was essentially, it's like the definition of hearsay, and yet it got characterized as an on-record, like declaratory statement from Acosta,
Called
him just asserting that he had been warned that Epstein belonged.
There's a phrase for hearsay when it's called expedited utterance, or it's something utterance, which makes it not hearsay. When someone admits something to another and another person says this is what he said, then it's not hearsay anymore. It's something utterance. It makes it no long like it's allowed in court. So wrecked again.
Well, it's allowed in life, right? I heard this guy
Well,
say
even in
this
court,
shit.
it's allowed. It's something utterances.
Like, I get what you're
I'll look
saying
it
there. I'm just saying, like, fuck this guy in regards to, like, trying to use like court records as some sort of like. If someone says, if Epstein's like, I did it, I trafficked all these kids, I did it to the big and the wealthy and all that shit. If Epstein like screamed that one day, right? Like, well, that's inadmissible in court. If Michael, like, let's say that happened, right? Michael Tracey would say, like, we have to pretend like he didn't yell, like scream that, instead of being like a fucking human. Common
Excited
sense.
utterance exception. Okay, that's the word. Excited utterance exception.
Fair enough, but like, I'm just going off of simple ass shit. And this Michael Trace guy's like working hard. This dweeby looking Peter Jackson is working hard in a certain direction. And it comes off as very weird. Extremely weird. I'm like, what are you after, man? Because it's not the Epstein stuff. Seemingly. I think he's after some other shit. It's like, yo, just say that. But all right, here we go.
Okay, hold on.
Good.
Let me read this definition out so you get like the reason for its exception.
I know why
An
it's accepted.
An excited utterance in the law of evidence is a statement made by a person in response to a startling or shocking event or condition. It is an unplanned reaction to a startling event. It is an exception to the hearsay rule. That's simple. That simply tells you why it's there as an exception.
Yeah, I mean that's just obvious, right?
Yeah, I killed that dude. Oh shit! Now you can testify in court. I said, yeah, I killed that dude.
Or a witness who's up close, but you're in the back of the crowd, and you're like, "Oh my God, he killed him!" And if you find out who the he is in that situation, I would assume that would work in regards to evidence first, or as like a witness type of thing.
Right. Yeah, he was bragging, and I was 3 rows back. I heard what he fucking said.
Yeah.
Excited utterance.
Fair enough. All right, let's continue. Here we go.
Himself for a media interview with 60 Minutes. But anyway, that we'll leave that aside for the moment. But that quote was essentially, it's like the definition of hearsay, and yet it got characterized as an on-record, like declaratory statement from Acosta of him just asserting that he had been warned that Epstein belonged to intelligence pursuant to the 2007 non-prosecution agreement, and therefore he should back off. That's not what that quote signified. And actually, several years later, post 2018, when the Miami Herald series breathed new life
something
into
worse.
the story, harnessing the power of Me Too, which, by the way, I thought the right was mostly skeptical of. Instead, on this issue and in like select circumstances, we hear the right saying, believe women, we have to honor all survivors, we can't use any critical scrutiny of the claims. But after the
left,
Crystal wants to choke slam you, I think. And I agree with
that. That was the left.
I say Crystal clothesline, then chokeslam this fool through a table. This little dweeba, this little sweaty Peter Jackson. Chokeslam this fool. Here we go.
power of Me Too, which, by the way, I thought the right was mostly skeptical of. Instead, on this issue and in like select circumstances, we hear the right saying, believe women, we have to honor all survivors.
It's a weird statement,
we can't use
unnecessary
any critical
weird
scrutiny
statement.
of their claims. But after the Me Too energy bolstered this story,
That's
Hold
not
on.
true. That's not what happened.
the
That's not-
DOJ, Office of Professional Responsibility.
If you blanketly believe women or don't believe women, you're kind of fucked in your thinking.
Yeah, you're a fucking idiot at
If
that
you're
point.
if you're being serious, you're not being sarcastic and trying to fucking be that kind of dick as a joke, then you're fucked.
Yeah, that'd be stupid. But he's appealing to the crowd again. Like I thought you were supposed to. On one hand, he's like, this deserves like serious journalism. On the other hand, he's like, hey guys on the right, weren't you guys mad about the Me Too movement, huh? It's like what are you doing? You're like begging and pleading with anyone you can to like join your side, but no one's doing it. And I think Crystal should actually chokeslam you. Anyways, here we go.
Series breathe new life into the story, harnessing the power of Me Too, which, by the way, I thought the right was mostly skeptical of. Instead, on this issue and in like select circumstances, we hear the right saying, believe women, we have to honor all survivors, we can't use any critical scrutiny of their claims. But after the Me Too energy bolstered this story,
That's not true. That's not what happened.
the DOJ, Office of Professional Responsibility, conducted a review of the 2007-2008 non-prosecution agreement, and Alex Acosta did directly address this claim that he had once potentially asserted that Epstein belonged to intelligence, and that's why a supposedly more lenient deal was given. And Alex Acosta did deny it on the record. Now, in terms of the leniency of that deal, listen to what Dershowitz has to say. I'm not saying I agree with Alan Dershowitz on everything. In fact, I strongly agree with him on the issue of Israel. It's odd to me that every critic of Israel now has to feel that they have to be wedded to this particular issue because their criticism of Israel is bolstered by the idea that the reason that Israel is so widely supported among power structures is because there's a pervasive sexual blackmail network. I think that kind of makes critics of Israel look rather stupid. But Dershowitz says that Epstein fired him and refused to pay his legal fees because Epstein felt that he did not get a lenient deal. He felt that the prostitution charges, state-level prostitution charges in Florida that he was required to plead guilty to were actually overly onerous, and he should not have had to be subject to any kind of state control at all. So there was a dispute over whether they were actually.
Let me respond.
That was actually
Michael, the idea that this was because of Me Too is complete bullshit. The reason why
it wasn't bolstered by it. The cultural energy of Me Too didn't empower this.
The U.S. District Court judge ruled that the non-prosecution agreement violated the rights of the victims who were not informed of the non-prosecution agreement, which you're portraying as standard operating procedure for some sort of rich person. That is just absolutely not the case.
When did the Miami Herald series came out?
Yes, I agree. It came out in 2018, but it was a 12-year period in which the victims themselves were not informed of the situation, sued under their rights, under the, I believe it's like the crime victims' rights. I don't exactly remember.
Julie Brown and Tina Brown, who have covered this issue very closely, attribute the renewed interest to Me Too.
What I'm saying is that the district court judge is the person who overturned the NPA, which is the reason why. Now, perhaps some of the motivations of perhaps coming back for your rights, it is indisputable that the rights of the victims were violated under that non-prosecution agreement. Number one, as you just pointed out in that OPR review, they said that Acosta himself exercised poor judgment whenever he came to that. Now, let's address.
But he denied the intelligence aspect.
Yeah, but let's address that intelligence. First of all, the transcript of that has never been made public, and the way that it was phrased specifically.
Before they go into informant or whatever the fuck territory, one of the things that Michael's using, like he's like, oh, well, this whole thing is a big conspiracy blown up by MAGA people that believe, all the elites are doing this, or Pizzagate, or wherever the fuck, right? But then I think he actually uses the same type of standard in regards to another topic, which is the Me Too movement, right? Now he's agreeing with the MAGA mob of like, hey guys, I thought you guys don't believe that. Like, you can't just believe all women all of a sudden. So what are you guys doing, huh? It's like, isn't that weird? Do you get what I'm saying there? Where he's like,
Okay, so he's saying the timing of Me Too timed
But he
out
just
the
dismissed them
release.
though. He
Hold
dismissed them
on,
with the
hold
Epstein
on,
stuff, right?
hold on.
Yeah, good.
So Me Too was accusation. The timing of that was the same time of the judge actually determining that these women's rights were violated from the agreement.
As victims, yeah.
It just happened to be at about around the same time period. So therefore, Mega's crazy because they said don't listen to women, but listen to these women.
But like his appeal to the MAGA crowd is saying like, hey, I thought you guys like you don't just like automatically run with Me Too because it's a leftist idea, right? But he's also saying, yeah, these MAGA guys are wrong because they just run towards this idea because it's the MAGA crowd, right? Of the Epstein, I guess, conspiracy or idea. So it's like
Are you gonna listen to women
who
or not? I
does
can't
that?
keep up.
If you like analyze that, it's like sure you can maybe make that assessment, but like who the fuck are you, Michael? Why are you using that as part of your argument for a debate about Epstein? Like, why are you using that? It comes off as super fishy, bro. That's such a weird thing to do. Like on a human
Some
level, that's
jock
weird.
Did some jock like tell him it's cool to not believe women? And then he's like, "Oh, what's your political association? Republican, duh. Okay, yeah, okay.
He's
Then go across the street and find some lefty. Oh, dude, you cannot doubt any women. Oh, is this a philosophy or both sides? Oh, and they can never go against their philosophy.
I thought you guys were on my side about this. It's like, what? I thought you were like going with like fact base. These guys are conspiracy theorists, so thus they need the facts, right? But now we're doing it's fucking weird. Sorry for repeating that, but like it is what it is. Like that's just something about the person. Fuck the topic. The person we're dealing with right here. Sweaty Peter Jackson with Walkman headphones on. That is what we're dealing with apparently right now. It's just like it's bizarre behavior, straight up. But, all right,
Like
uh,
the
good.
only Republican I could picture, and it's a caricature, would be like a Chad Jock. Like that would be like, don't believe all women, don't believe any of them. Fuck it, they're all lying. I'm fucking them all, but none of it's rape. I promise you. Wait, so you're accused of rape? No, told you, don't believe women.
But even that's like
It's caricature.
if Me
It's
Too,
caricature.
well, if Me Too was strictly in the context of underage girls, I would think there'd be more attention to it instead of just strictly like maybe like, oh, these guys they're actors that are looking for handouts or something, like whatever the fuck the narrative was.
And I'm pretty sure there are some Republicans that believe that Kevin Spacey raped some boys, that David Hyde from the '70s show raped some girls in Scientology, and Harvey Weinstein raped some fucking women. I'm pretty sure there's a couple Republicans out there that believe that.
I think there's a lot, most likely. But they were
And that's
the
just
phenomenon
some
was
of
like it's
the
not everyone that's doing that. That's the phenomenon that was more likely the narrative about it. But for Michael Tracy to
right,
pivot
but
to that is just weird to me. God.
that was TV that told you it's believe all women, believe all women. It wasn't the dude
I
down
guess
the
not.
street telling you to believe or don't believe all women.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree. I agree. Even then, I think there was like, well, okay. Side note, I think it was like cross messaging to where regular people that were saying like believe women, I think was in the vein of like consider the idea that they're saying. Don't just like dismiss them as like, oh, you're just some girl lying for money or for power or something like that. I think that was probably the healthy-minded version of that. Then the healthy-minded other side was like, well, we want like evidence for everything so that we can prove it. And if it's proven true, we'll go side by side with you that someone like raped or abused, boy or girl, in any situation, right? But then again,
Right.
with the talking heads, it usually turns into something stupid, right? They promote the loudest dumb fuck voices.
And none of us believed Bill Cosby raped anybody until they got the number to like 12.
What?
No, he raped like 35 women, right? But once they were at 12, it was like, all right, he might have done some shit.
Actually, that shit was like believed instantly because Hannibal Buress used it in a stand-up routine, and it wasn't even heard of before. Well, it was probably heard of, but it wasn't like famous yet. The story. So when like a random guy just says that, it's like, damn, it must be true, and then like blew up, and then there was witnesses coming out. Like it just turned into something. Well, there already were like witnesses and victims like making like statements, but they weren't like famous yet, right? They didn't become like famous testimony yet. But I guess Hannibal Buress heard about it and then made a big deal about it on a stand-up stage, and then it became something else entirely.
I didn't know how I got started, but the public knows.
Trust me, it's Hannibal Buress. Hannibal Buress said that on a fucking stage as a stand-up
I'm
comedian,
not even sure who
and
that
that's when it
is.
blew up. Fair enough, but that's where I remember the story like really blowing up from. But all right, here we go. Let's play more of this. Obviously, here we go.
Rights, it is indisputable that the rights of the victims were violated under that non-prosecution agreement. Number one, as you just pointed out in that OPR review, they said that Acosta himself exercised what? Poor judgment whenever he came to that. Now,
Sure.
let's address
But he denied the intelligence asset
Yeah, but
claim,
let's
right?
address that intelligence. First of all, the transcript of that has never been made public. And the way that it was phrased specifically around OPR and when they asked him about intelligence was he said, absolutely not. I did not have information that he was an intelligence asset. The way that that question, as you and I know, asked is pretty damn specific. Now let's talk about Israel as well.
No.
And no.
It was much more. It was much more. It was much more. Did you look at the footnote?
Yes, I did. I looked at both the footnote where he said I was allowed to address it in a classified setting. He said absolutely not when asked specifically whether he belonged to intelligence.
He says
no.
He was asked whether he had knowledge of Epstein being a quote intelligence asset.
Yes,
Acosta stated to OPR that quote the answer is no. I'm not sure how much more direct he could have been.
The answer is look.
Do I have information that he's an asset? Is way different than was he an asset? Two different questions. So him saying no to are you aware of under oath or under whatever setting it is, I guess it's like a lawful situation, right? Like under
Right.
like you being you could become like a prosecuted for lying or whatever the fuck, right? To officials. Like, hey, do you have full blown knowledge that this guy's a fucking intelligence asset?
What do you mean by asset?
Well, it doesn't work. Like, either way, it doesn't work. That's what I'm saying. It would have to.
I mean,
it would have to be like, is Jeffrey Epstein an asset? Right. That'd have to like actually be the question.
Well, if he is, you can't admit that either.
Fuck my life. Bless me.
Yeah.
If he's a CIA asset and you blow his cover, you're going to prison forever.
But either way, like the question that is asked does not actually showcase the answer to that question. Right?
Well, yeah, and asset does mean something very specific. So I believe,
Or
for
intelligence.
instance, if you're if you're an agent, for example, like an employee of if you're an actual employee, you're not an asset. So you say
Yes.
that like straight face.
But
So
we get what's
things
implied.
like that. There could be technical ways in why we would ask him very specifically. And this was although it was under oath, but it was for him getting confirmed into, I guess, this was like something that they were reviewing. Was this the timing so that he can be in the administration? I think. I
Look
believe
at that.
Yeah.
But even the question
It-
itself doesn't say anything. Thus, why we need journalists out there actually asking these questions and trying to get the answer, Michael Tracey, instead of just assuming that everyone's just a dumb conspiracy theorist. Michael Tracey, you fucking idiot.
Well, hold
Well, and
on.
there was a report that
If
he actually, like, the whole reason they asked him that was because um, was a journalist who quoted him as saying that specifically,
Yeah.
that
The thing
he is intelligence. So there was some precedent to, like, why that topic came up. It was originally from uh, it was from Acosta, unless he's saying, well, this journalist made it up, but he hasn't shown that either.
Yeah.
Right? He's just saying, well, it was under oath, as if they haven't lied to us under oath, and especially in Congress, they lie under oath all the time, right? About when
why
they're doing
can't
something illegal.
Yeah, we just saw Tulsi do that, but God.
why can't Michael Tracy consider Acosta saying no to whichever of those two questions it is part of a conspiracy?
Well, okay, that's at
Why
the
can't he?
simple human
Why
level.
can't he
I agree
fathom
with
that? Why can't he fathom that? That's a potential possibility of its own conspiracy.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Like, on the human level, you could just lie, dude. Duh.
Like, there's people who think the fucking Earth is flat.
Well, there's no magic beam like making you follow the rules of law. Like, especially if you feel like you can get away with something. Like, there's no magic beam doing that. So I don't know why he would. Whatever. He's going off of.
There's people that
bullshit.
believe birds are machines.
Wait, you heard that theory? The fake birds. The birds aren't real.
All
Theory.
birds are fake. They're all robots.
I've actually heard that theory as well. Flat Earth is kind of known, but like the fake birds, that's a little more niche of a topic. But yes, that theory actually exists out there. And anyways, all right, let's keep going. I'm trying to like let it play a little bit longer. I'm sorry, we all have opinions here. But good.
I got one more for Acosta. Now, this one wasn't under oath, but they asked him this question before.
Okay.
And he said it like, you're saying, you're looking at what they're saying, what their motivations, how they say it, right? Like, you're just looking at the person, right? So I put that in chat. It's a very short clip of him answering in a different press. Like, how he was answering it. I remember it being a little bit like weird, like it was kind of evasive, if I recall correctly.
Here we go.
acts of the office with respect to that particular.
Sorry, audio's a little bit too low. Turn that up a bit. You have some juice. Try that again. Here we go.
I think those rumors are misconstruing the acts of the office with respect to that particular paragraph. One more question.
Richard Lardner from the Associated Press. Mr. Secretary, were you ever made aware at any point your handling of this case if Mr. Epstein was an intelligence asset of some sort?
So there has been reporting to that effect, and let me say, there's been reporting to a lot of effects in this case, not just now but over the years, and again, I would hesitate to take this reporting as fact. This was a case that was brought by our office. It was brought based on the facts. And I look at that reporting and others. I can't address it directly because of our guidelines.
Because?
But I can tell you that
Is what?
a lot of reporting is just going down rabbit holes. A few more questions. A few more questions.
I mean, Mayor P couldn't do that any better, man. We're just like kind of like dancing around, not actually answering the question.
The
And
question was, were you ever made aware that he was a intelligence officer, right?
he smiles
Um,
instantly. He
Newspaper say
smiles,
it.
and then he kind of
that,
you can see him dancing around.
so was he ever made aware? Like, it doesn't even have to be like, is he or not, or like, do you know? Like, had this ever been, like it? So it's a question that's like to the best of your knowledge, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's
He says
very
I
simple.
can't.
Like, there's no dancing needed there.
And he said I can't answer it, but there are newspapers that are
He can't
talking
answer
about
it.
possibilities. Yeah,
Right. So like, what reasons would you not be able to answer that?
because it could get you locked up forever.
Well, if he's not intelligent, saying no is not a problem, right?
Right.
so,
Well,
so, like, what reasons? I can't say he is, but like, there's something that he's saying is restricting him from being able to answer that.
Yeah, it's called life imprisonment.
yeah. Yeah.
well, it's like
Sorry.
You're blown. It's basically treason.
So Michael Tracy goes by, this footnote thing that is in an official document. And we here listen to Acosta responding with, he should have been prepared for that question, but he's responding more off the cuff than like when they're
yes.
getting him like for that specific question, like prepared.
Yeah, but your natural like well, who knows? Everyone's different. But like like my natural sense of things is like, okay, that begs a question in other directions. It's not even Michael Tracy confirming anything to us actually, other than official court documents, right? With certain things. Virginia Giuffre took this amount of money, or this was never officially admitted
You
to, or
don't
whatever
know
the
the
fuck,
money.
right?
You don't
Whatever.
know how much you got paid.
Regardless, I'm just
So
saying, like, in my opinion, your natural humanness thing would be like, hey, yo, what's going on here? Why is this case the way the case is? It isn't because
no,
of
no,
the
no.
audience of why it's this case. It's actually because of the way that the behavior of the people that are supposed to be overlooking the case. That's why people look at it so fucking weirdly. Like, yo, what? Why is this going on like this? And also, like from every sense of it, to even guards guarding Epstein's cell, right? like even that's like on every level, there's like something fucked up there. And Michael Tracy's like, nah, just trust what they're giving us, and it works against your own sense of logic of the way people act. I'm just saying. He's also calling it a crime to ask questions about it too, or come up with theories about it. It's like it's so bizarre the way he's moving. But good, up, sir. If you want to go.
It's just I forgot. Just
All
go
right.
ahead. I'm looking up. I'm typing into Google. Can I get a sleep apnea machine in prison?
There goes that video. I will link the video that we watched yesterday. What was the guy's name, Jesse? If you remember it.
I don't remember the guy's name.
Fuck. Either way, I'll link
Oh,
two
in
videos we
jail.
watched
In
yesterday.
jail. Not prison, in jail. My bad.
Yeah. Allegedly on suicide watch. He had this machine, right? Whatever.
A few feet of electrical cord,
Yeah.
plastic tubing, but
Yeah.
he chose to use the handkerchiefs to hang himself.
The bed sheets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will link the videos that we watched yesterday. Once again, I'm not even jumping into full blown conspiracy about anything. It's the fact that the simple, dumb guy logic of this scenario that Michael Tracy is absolutely denying, apparently. Like, Where's the court? Where's the court filing for it? It's like, what? The fuck are you talking? Like, does the world work that way? Is the entire reality of our world caught up in a fucking court case somewhere? It's not. So we can't just simply just rely on that, especially the context of corruption or bribes or seeking of like better positions where you keep your fucking mouth shut. As guess what, Michael Tracey will have proof of in regards to other topics. I'm like, why are you this way about this topic so harshly like this? Either way, let's continue. Once again, I apologize for the pausing, but you know what? We're better than both these fools. All right, here we go.
I mean, I'm trying to be very specific here. I believe that the way that question is asked in the transcript and the circumstance are pretty important.
Right in front of me.
No, but that's my point though, is that even if you're quote, he belonged to intelligence and I was told to leave it alone, is not direct knowledge. These are classic non-denial denials. And in his 2019 press conference, he did not actually address it whenever he was asked on the record publicly. It's only in this OPR review that he later on comes back to it. I don't think you're going to deny in 2019 that he did not leave the door open to the fact that that report could have had some accuracy. He said something along the lines of, I wouldn't believe everything you read, but it was a non-denial denial. But at the time of that non-prosecution agreement that you're talking about, Jeffrey Epstein, by verified report, is in Israel, basically brought all of his assets over there, returns from Israel to Palm Beach in April of 2008. So that's the first, in my opinion, sketchy connection for why he's exactly granted this special status in Israel whenever he's fighting a pedophile prosecution in the United States of America. But let's just continue down that fact. And this is the part that I just don't understand. For somebody who generally looks for links, why do you have the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak flying on his plane multiple times, staying at his house for months on end, pictured when there were women there, holding a scarf in front of his face to hide his identity from the tabloids? Why is it that, JP Morgan in 2011 has to rely on Epstein to broker a meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu? Why is it that Ehud Olmert and Shimon Peres are both linked to Jeffrey Epstein? Ehud Barak was asked, how did you meet Jeffrey Epstein? I did it via Shimon Peres. Ehud Olmert is named specifically by the U.S. Virgin Islands as an Epstein associate. I mean, if we take that and then combine it here with Leslie Wexner, the fact that Jeffrey Epstein is on board the Wexner Foundation and then pays Ehud Barak $2.3 million to complete 2 reports, one of which he never finished. I can continue back further. Here we have Jeffrey Epstein involved in multiple sketchy arms transactions from the 1980s. I mean, this is where I genuinely wonder, like, if you're just trying to be a contrarian. Do you accept it as a fact that Stephen Hoffenberg, Douglas Leese, and Adnan Khashoggi, Robert Maxwell, who, by the way, is a known Mossad agent, did not have connections with Jeffrey Epstein, in which it looks like with a source of his wealth was used as cutouts for use by the U.S. intelligence, or the U.S. and Israeli intelligence community? The 4 individuals who I just named are known and linked to multiple sketchy arms deals from the 1980s. Khashoggi, Robert Maxwell, Douglas Leese, Stephen Hoffenberg. They've given on-the-record statements about their relationship with Epstein. At one point, Epstein is flying on a private jet with Douglas Leese in the 1980s when he's just 28 years old. I mean, I don't know how you can't look at that, specifically here about the money, even ignore the sex trafficking, and not saying that he did not have connections here to intelligence, or at the very least for cutouts and use as an intelligence asset in the past. I genuinely do not know how you cannot look at that, and specifically where the source of his wealth is complete bullshit. He starts a firm in 1988, J. Epstein and Associates, where he says, I only take on people with $1 billion. There are only 140, 150 people in the country, or in the world at that time, who have $1 billion under management. He's never been a registered money manager. He has no proven tax record. He called himself a, quote, high-level bounty hunter when he forms an international assets group. In what way does this not look suspicious for everything that I have just laid out there in the highest level connection to the Israeli government?
I totally get
I don't know what we're doing here.
Suspicions around this issue, but if you're
but you
saying
want
that it's
people to come out and say
contrarian,
fact, yeah, he was Mossad. That's not how it works, Michael. The CIA doesn't come out and say, yeah, we killed Kennedy. We connect all of the dots. I mean, do you believe then the official Warren? What you're saying is that because the magic bullet theory is true, that we should all just swallow it and accept it.
So now we're going to go to a detour.
He gave him an out right there, though. Right. He did. He just said information, right. Warren report. That kind of gave him a little bit of an out. Right.
He's gonna go that way. Yeah. He's gonna go that way. But still, it is what he's doing. It is what he's doing. He's saying, I believe the Warren Commission because of the Warren Commission.
No, it's a good point, but like it's to showcase that this guy is not behaving in a quote unquote logical manner. Like, but don't use that here. Like, let him like answer for what you just said about the whole Epstein and connections to intelligence and the names that he's connected to, and right, like let that ring.
He's gonna dodge all that.
Mhm.
He's gonna dodge all that and go. I don't believe the Warren Commission.
Exactly. Yeah, he might actually just full blown just dive into JFK all of a sudden. He might have
Because
given
he was
him
holding
out.
his breath like for a long time while he was
We
talking.
heard him fucking
Yeah,
sigh,
he
Jesse. We heard him like breathe into the like fully
Yeah,
sigh
he-
into the microphone.
like, just getting like he's on the ropes and just getting flowered.
All right.
Then he hears the Warren report. He's like, okay,
I saw him
I know how to
adjust his
answer
bow
that.
tie, man. I saw him
I know what
adjust his
that's
bow
about.
tie.
All right, here we go. Let's see where Michael or how he answers this. Here we go. He may jump on the JFK stuff, but all right, here we go.
I mean, do you believe then the official Warren? What you're saying is that because the Warren Commission said that the magic bullet theory is true, that we should all just swallow it and accept it. It's
So now we're going to
ridiculous.
go to a detour into the Warren Commission.
No, but what I'm
this
saying
is
is
the
you're saying, well,
problem with
that's been-
discussing this
But
issue.
that's
Nobody
a
can
factual
stay wedded
predicate.
to like one coherent train
That's
of
a
thought.
factual predicate.
It's
The
good,
Warren
that
Commission
you
said it's been
conceded
solved.
that the primary Epstein accuser is a serial fabulous.
Oh my God! You're
That's a
stuck on
positive
Virginia
step forward
Giuffre.
in
By the way, there are
perceptions around
two other individuals who have
Hold on,
named.
can I respond now?
Prince Andrew,
Yeah.
Johanna Schoberg, and I need to find her name. One
Crystal,
second.
I mean, come on.
Caroline
how many?
Payne, who's been named here
how
in an
much can you
affidavit.
throw
Michael,
out
let
at
me
once?
go ahead and get Michael
But it's the case.
in particular,
Yeah.
Saagar laid out the connections with
Yeah.
four different Israeli
Four Israeli prime
ministers.
ministers.
How do you assimilate that information? What's your response to that?
Sure. First of all, I have to just address the idea that I'm just being arbitrarily contrarian. I can't tell you how many issues I've received that accusation on over the years, whether it was the Trump-Russia story, which contained conspiratorial elements where I was accused of being a contrarian, whether it was the 2020 George Floyd riots, which I went around and critically covered the poor media coverage of. I was widely denounced for being a contrarian. I'll give you all the evidence, whether it was the war in Ukraine. This just happens to be an issue where people, I guess, more on the right now think I'm being a contrarian, and so they're particularly
fair.
enraged.
I shouldn't have impugned.
It's not an argument, Michael, but please answer for the questions that were actually asked to you. Here we go.
I should not have impugned your motives, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I just don't believe it's not contrarianism to critically cover how media narratives congeal in the absence of what I think to be a reliable factual basis.
All right,
and how
so
people
why is
believe
Epstein
stuff.
linked up with all these
I
Israeli
mean, you
prime
had Dave
ministers?
Smith, who
Thank
I think
you.
you guys have had on to discuss this, or you had on as regular.
Oh my God, she just fucking asked you. Well, Dave
think
Smith.
to be a reliable
I bet.
factual basis.
I hit play
All right, so
And
why-
how
so
people
why-
Just him again.
Well,
She's asking him again.
Dave Smith. I rewinded, so it might not be, but still. Well, Dave Smith, that's not good enough.
Yes, twice, right?
Let's hear because she's trying to dig into what Sugar just said, right? Like, okay, why is he connected
Right.
to these many prime ministers? What's up?
She's trying to keep him in the pocket, right there.
And
Same
Right.
question.
by the way, Michael from
He's
the
trying to get
outside,
out of it.
Michael from the outside, it's not hard to be like, hey man, you full of shit, bro. You lying to me? What are your reasons for? Fuck that word contrarian. I don't care about contrarian. We're people. I'm a person. You're a person. Why are you doing what you're doing? What's your point? Well, the Trump people keep saying these things like, well, fuck them. Forget about those guys. Is this worth looking into? If he says no, I think he's full of shit at that
Well,
point. Right?
Well,
Fuck
Dave
the Trump
Smith
fans.
smells like poo poo. Well, Dave Smith smells like poo poo.
That'd be a terrible argument. But all right, here we go.
I should not have impugned your motives, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so I just don't believe it's not contrarianism to critically cover how media narratives
Fuck contrarianism.
congeal
Like,
in the absence of what I think to be a reliable factual basis.
All right,
and how
so
people
why is
believe
Epstein
stuff.
linked up with all these
I
Israeli
mean, you
prime
had Dave
ministers?
Smith, who I think you guys have had on to
Dave
discuss
Smith.
this, or you had on as a regular guest, who was at the Talking Points conference and accused
Sure.
Donald Trump of covering up a child sex trafficking or child rape ring. I mean, Saagar, do you think
It's
that was
breaking
a
points,
credible statement? I simply don't.
I mean,
So-
okay, again, I would not.
But let me address the Israeli
Yeah, go ahead,
the Israeli
go ahead.
officials. Okay, so yes, it's not disputed that Ehud Barak, for instance, was a longtime associate of Epstein. They engaged in some business deals together. They even Ehud Barak, amazingly enough, was actually present when Epstein was on a media strategizing session with Steve Bannon, where they were planning how he could rehabilitate his image in the wake of the 2018 Miami Herald series. And Bannon was having to educate Epstein about how Me Too had changed cultural attitudes around this stuff. So you couldn't just be as obstinate as maybe you were able to be before in the past in rejecting some of these charges. So
Yeah,
Steve Bannon was actually
out smear the women, basically.
Yeah, you had to be more sensitive. So Steve Bannon conducted the 16 hours of preparatory interviews with Epstein to kind of tell him how he would be questioned in the context of the 60 Minutes interview or something. On the Israel connection, yes, Ehud Barak was a longtime associate of Epstein. Epstein had longtime associations with an astonishing array of people. I'm not doubting that. He was a consummate bullshitter. He had alliances with, as we know, everybody from Bill Gates to Donald Trump to Bill Clinton over the years. So
yeah, but there was a picture. Hold on. Let's go off the argument that Michael heard. Right? It was brought up about Virginia Roberts or Virginia Giuffre, right? In a picture, like, okay, here's do you deny her as being a victim, Michael, or do you consider like she was a victim, but maybe she wanted money out of it? Maybe that was her main goal, right? Either way, like if she's a victim and she's pictured with one of these arrays of fucking famous or powerful, politically powerful people, like, isn't that worthy of the questions being asked, Michael? Isn't that like a little weird, right? Like, why would, hold on, let's say Jeffrey Epstein is having weird child porn ass shit on his own, right? And one of them is Virginia Giuffre or one of these other girls, right? Why the fuck would he introduce them or show them to fucking Prince Andrew or Bill Clinton or someone like that? Why would he do that? Once again, I'm referring back to the picture, right? Why would those two people be in the same? Why would he allow that to happen if he's having some sort of secret little pedophile thing going on, like on the side? Why would he let like a kind of like a head of state or a very politically powerful or at the very least filthy rich person be next to one of the victims of him, right? One of his crimes. You're saying, Michael Tracey, right? It's his crime. Why would he allow him? Why would he allow one of the girls, one of the victims, to be next to a giant famous figure? Why would you do that? Come on, dude. Like, common sense. Like, this guy does he know like regular people or something, bro? Like, come on. When you got, please make that make sense to me. Please.
I'm just trying to gather what I'm thinking about. So go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, me? Like, well, she was like, what is she doing there? I mean, whether he's there or not, like she doesn't have her own planes, right?
But Jesse,
She
he's the
yes,
idea is that
she's
he is
the victim.
victimizing one of these girls, right? Why would he allow the girl that he's victimizing to be next to someone who's like politically powerful? Why would you allow
He's known to
that?
have victimized dozens of little girls, underage girls.
Why would he let them next to fucking celebrities to where it's like, oh shit, that can get me caught? Why would you do that? Unless they're into it too, in my humble opinion. Makes no fucking sense, right? You tell me. You tell me. Why would he do that? If he's a criminal trying to get away with a crime, and he's pornographically filming and also sexually abusing, like rape, of these young girls, why the fuck would he put him next to fucking Michael Jackson for? Why make them famous if you want it hidden? Like, this doesn't make sense, right? Which would make me think that the celebrity next to them is also into it too. Right?
Michael Tracey only refers to her as the serial confabulous. Oh, yeah, fabulous.
Yeah, fabulistic.
Siri.
To make money and Like, come on. It doesn't make any sense if he's doing it just by himself for his own fucking personal pervy reasons. Like, doesn't make sense, right? On the surface, it does not make sense as far as like people behaving. A guy doing a crime, trying to get away with the crime. And he just said, what did Michael say? He hired this team of lawyers that are apparently the best lawyers of all time. They can just get things like they can make cases go away and get sweetheart deals. They can just do that. Which means he's trying to stay free, right? Logically. So why introduce one of your sex slaves to a fucking famous person? Why would you do that? It's bullshit. Like Michael, this is why you look fucking stupid. And guess what? When they officially, whatever administration or DOJ officially comes out and says like, well, there's nothing here with the Epstein case. He killed himself, and there was no trafficking. It was just him being a perv with some younger people. When they officially say that, and Michael says, "See, look, I told you." Watch his reaction. I'm telling you, watch his reaction. See, guys, I told you, there's nothing here. And it's like, fuck you, fucking dummy. Or, let's be honest, you full of shit motherfucker, bro. That's seeming very more likely, but go ahead.
He keeps calling her serial fabulous. So, meaning she's just she's a liar. That's what he keeps saying.
Me too, I
But
want
it
money.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so she's a liar.
Yeah.
Some people are lying more often than others. But even if she's a liar, doesn't mean that he's innocent. She wasn't the only person
No.
talking about these things. It wasn't even the victims weren't the only people talking about these things. Didn't we see videos of like people who worked on the island, people who
Yes.
may be contractors sometimes, and they've mentioned things that they've seen,
Yes.
and the girls and all of that. Like it wasn't just like even people who were out to sue him. Like there's a lot of like corroboration of these pieces of information that we do know. Like it's he just keeps anchoring to this one thing to kind of try to dismiss everything, which is
Well,
it's a very strange
get to the
thing to
wreckage,
do.
Jesse. Get to the wreckage. He brought Virginia Giuffre up with a question about Leslie Wexner. He brought her up instead of Leslie Wexner in the same video. Like what do I make out of this, Jesse? What do I do with this? Why is Michael doing this? I can't make sense of it without being like, okay, the guy's full of shit on some level. What do I do with this? Just for,
It looks like he's
people
covering up for them for whatever reason.
Is it a journalistic pride? I don't know what the reason is. I don't know, but it smells funny. It smells like extremely funny.
His method of argumentation is the type of things you would see in like comments in the Twitter comments or like maybe a Reddit thread that just gets passionate. Like, he argues in that way, and he seems to give responses here that are almost like answers to comments, like things that other people have accused him of or something. Like that.
It comes off
no place here.
Almost similar to like if someone like because some people overblow the story to something else that it means the entire thing is all faulty. That's the way he's coming off as to me.
Yeah, but that's a very disingenuous
I agree.
form of argumentation. Like,
yes,
I mean, unless somebody doesn't know how to, like, they're just kind of unaware of structures of arguments. That would be like a very egregious form of either deception or just not understanding like what is just basic logic.
Yeah, and I don't want to forget the last time we went over this full, and Seb's brought up the video of him screaming assault when Maxine Waters like touched his arm. She assaulted me. Y'all saw that? She assaulted me. Like, oh, you little fucking bitch-made little dweeb fuckface, aren't you? You're a little sweaty Peter Jackson, aren't you? You little weirdo. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. That's me on a shit-talking,
Hold on.
like, person level.
Hold on.
Okay, good.
Okay. So when he just said that about Epstein, so a bullshitter, Michael Tracey actually just revealed he doesn't believe anything of what he said for the last couple months.
What do you mean?
He actually believes in all of the accusations that you're saying are not credible. When he just said that right there. Because the simple idea is, well, if he's a bullshitter, and the general idea, like a snake oil salesman, you think Trump could get snake oil salesman? You think Ehud Barak could be snake oil salesman? You think Wexner could be snake oil sold? For what?
Because
What's the
Epstein's
oil?
a brilliant orator. He's so genius at
What's the
talking.
oil?
I
If they're
guess him
getting
talking.
sold, if they're getting sold some bullshit, what's the bullshit they're getting sold?
I
He-
got nothing
with
for
that statement alone, from his own mouth, what he just said, he believes everything we believe. He's doing this shit for some other reason.
I think his oil is young, pretty girls. I think that's the actual snake oil in that scenario. Like maybe
For Epstein, yeah.
he could be selling a bill of goods, right? But like it's backed with young, pretty girls. If I had to guess,
Right. So that means Michael Tracey believes all the stuff that everybody's talking about. He's just doing this for some other reason. Michael Tracey is.
yeah, I was already there with that for sure. But, all right, let's keep going. I'm sure people are used to YellBro marathons of videos. I put out 5-hour videos sometimes. Like, hey man, what? Start making some pasta or something. Put the podcast on. Listen to YellBro. do it. Here we go.
Does it surprise me that some of those people included the Israeli government? No, or the Saudi arms deal stuff that he was involved in the 1980s? No.
Sorry, I need to back up a bit. Sorry. Play from here.
Rehabilitate his image in the wake of the 2018 Miami Herald series, and Bannon was having to educate Epstein about how Me Too had changed cultural attitudes around this stuff, so you couldn't just be as obstinate as maybe you were able to be before in the past in rejecting some of these charges. So
Yeah,
Steve Bannon was actually
out smear the women, basically.
Yeah, you had to be more sensitive. So Steve Bannon conducted the 16 hours of preparatory interviews with Epstein to kind of tell him how he would be questioned in the context of the 60 Minutes interview or something. On the Israel connection, yes, Ehud Barak was a longtime associate of Epstein. Epstein had longtime associations with an astonishing array of people. I'm not doubting that. He was a consummate bullshitter. He had alliances with, as we know, everybody from Bill Gates to Donald Trump to Bill Clinton over the years. So does it surprise me that some of those people included the Israeli government? No, or the Saudi arms deal stuff that he was involved in the 1980s? No.
What was his product?
I'm not surprised about any of that. And
why was
I'm
his
also
friendship
allowing
so
for the
important?
possibility, as I wrote
They had
in that
spare time
article,
for him.
that
talking over him. Good. I hear what you're saying, but
Michael, why did these famous, very, very busy people have time to entertain Jeffrey Epstein? Why was he invited to all these people's connections? What was his product? What could he do for them?
no matter what you go through, like in that rabbit hole, Dubster, it's going to lead to something sus. Because if you say he has money, he has money, so thus he has influence. You just ask, like, well, how did he get his money? And then that leads to another rabbit hole of questions about this guy's character, meaning whoever attached to him, I would think they'd do some sense of like, who the fuck is this guy? Where'd he come from? Why do we care about him? Why do we talk to him? Why do we meet with him? Whatever, right? It all leads to
Right.
like more questions either way. And
Even if you
Michael's trying to
just think
deny all of
of,
that. It's crazy.
even if you think like I could connect you to somebody, he had to start somewhere. He had to start with I can connect you to one person, and then knowing that one person would lead to being able to connect to all these other stuff. So how did he get to that status? Just being a connector,
He was rich. That's all. That's all I got. He's rich.
right? Like,
If I
hey,
try to play Michael's
I
theory, he's just
arranged.
rich. I guess.
If I arranged for like a war to end, I was a negotiator to keep the peace while they're at the table.
Yeah.
That's a connector in a sense. So why was I chosen as the connector?
Yeah. Like it's there's no way around it. You end up in a rabbit hole somewhere, straight up. Like there's no way around it. I think either it's money or the girls, or both, or intelligence, or like you end up somewhere, right? Of like, wait a minute, this begs even more and more questions. There is no like, well, we have the court documents, so thus the story stops here. I don't see that in this case at all. Right? So that's why Michael's like probably losing everyone. Definitely losing me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck are you doing here? Actually, like, what is your point with all this shit? But all right,
You just put up 4 Mossad people and arms dealers.
well, you brought up prime ministers of Israel, right? Which should be enough to ask more questions from there. But according to Michael, it's nothing to see here, I guess. Nothing to see here.
If you just cross connect the things that we're talking about, arms dealer, Israel, sex trafficker, Victoria's Secret model owner.
Well, it's like
if you connect these thoughts, banker to the sex trafficker, banker to the arms dealer, banker to Israel, Israel to the banker. Like, just think about these things.
and
Bill Gates, the guy that's all about eugenics, connect them to any of those things too.
and this is no offense to you, Dubster, but let's say Michael was in this Discord. He would connect, based on your past statements, he would connect you to Trump. But the rest of us, he has no chance in that world at all.
I've shaken Trump's hand 32 times, man.
But
I'm talking about,
I'm just saying he'd focus on you instead of like answering, even if your questions are legit or your critiques are legit or your statements are legit, he'd still like, well, you're a Trump supporter, weren't you? So thus your whole thing's dismissed because you're a MAGA Pizzagate conspiracy theorist. He'd throw you in the fucking garbage and not answer any of the rest of our fucking questions. That's the way he's behaving right now.
okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's the way he's behaving right now.
He would be all over you for me. He'd be all over you for some other version of
probably
something he knows about the left.
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah, I think he would try to find something. Yeah, for sure. But I think there's too many legit questions from every direction that his answers just come off as like illegitimate. It lacks intellectual fucking rigor in regards to it, right? Like you're not actually like deep diving intellectually into these topics. You're just like trying to dismiss everything. I don't care how many fucking documents you read. You're still working with like a purview to dismiss the other or dismiss the ideas that are being brought up. But
hey, also get this. In this, he's trying to bait Sugar and talking about Trump poorly, but he's attacking MAGA. But he's attacking MAGA.
Yeah,
it's interesting. because he's like, I know you guys are not with him anymore because of the Epstein thing. So talk shit on Trump. I fucking dare you. You won't be MAGA. You will be known as against MAGA. It's like, it's weird. And he's like, I'm waiting for it. I'm fucking waiting for it. Talk shit about Trump. I dare you. So he's like, he's on Trump's side against MAGA.
Yes, yes, actually. That's actually brilliant. That is comedy to a fucking T. As Trump saying, why the fuck are we still talking about this guy? Michael Tracy's like, yeah, why the fuck are we still talking about this guy? And then the guy who voted for Trump, Sugar here, right? He's like, yo, no, there's important shit to talk about this.
But it's happened like 3 times in this video. You wouldn't say that about Trump, would you? And Sugar just backs down. You're right. You're right. I saw him fucking do that 3 times in this video.
By the way, I'm going to say this. Magic 8 Ball, a.k.a. Crystal Ball. Tell Kyle to get rid of the nipple rings and get his fucking head screwed on straight. Side note, I'm just saying. Chris, she's better than him. I'm sorry. She's better. Whatever. All right. That was a side note. Let's keep it moving. Here we go. Because he can't put MAGA on her. He can't do that with her. And she asked like a legit question, and I think he's fucking sidestepping again in his own way. But let's find out. Here we go.
Of Epstein. Epstein had longtime associations with an astonishing array of people. I'm not doubting that. He was a consummate bullshitter. He had alliances with, as we know, everybody from Bill Gates to Donald Trump to Bill Clinton over the years. So does it surprise me that some of those people included the Israeli government? No. Or the Saudi arms deal stuff that he was involved in the 1980s? No. I'm not surprised about any of that. And I'm also allowing for the possibility, as I wrote in that Compact article, that over the course of his bizarre international jet setting, perhaps he did come into contact with somebody who was associated with the Israeli security services. Ehud Barak himself would have been the head of Mossad when he was prime minister.
Yes,
so is it inconceivable? He was
also the head of military intelligence.
So is it inconceivable that over the course of their meetings, Ehud Barak obtained some piece of information that maybe he passed along to somebody? No, that's not inconceivable at all. I just don't see it as dispositive or as like all-encompassingly explanatory of Epstein supposedly getting away with this child sex trafficking ring whose existence I don't regard as having been anywhere near established. You know,
why are you going that far with it? Like, hey, like, it's Sugar's initial statements were like, hey, it seems like there's smoke here. Do you agree with that? He didn't even address that, by the way, Michael Tracey. He didn't address that. Like, so, okay, is there enough for us to, like, should we look into this, Michael? Or are you saying, no, let's not, because Virginia Giuffre wanted money, or she's a gold digger that wants money. She abused the Me Too movement and took some money. Is that why you throw out the entire thing? Because your arguments don't sound like you want more clarification. It sounds like you want, hey, guys, shut up about this. End it. Shut up about it. Let's move on to get the real journalism, real politics. This guy's, he's acting like a fucking weirdo, bro. I'm telling you. On a human level, he's acting like a fucking weirdo. But go ahead, Dubster.
I don't know if it's an analogy, but let's just think about this. Let's say Dracula's a real character in the world.
Yeah.
And nobody knows who it is for like thousands of years. And then one day we figure out this is Dracula, put a face to him, put him in a cage. He gets 13 months of, he's got to go to jail for the weekend. Whatever. And then after he's released, 6 or 7 famous dudes go and visit him on occasion.
Where the fuck are you going with this? Go ahead, keep going.
Well, that's about all I needed right there was like, why are the famous people visiting Dracula?
Are there like random victims with 2 punctures in their neck, and they're like, well, Michael's like, well, that could have been ice picks. No, but we saw him turn into a bat. We saw him like he doesn't have a reflection.
No, we
He can
convicted him
hypnotize you with
of
his
being
eyes.
Dracula. We convicted him of being Dracula, and his sentence was 13 months of going to jail on the weekend.
He catches fire in the sun. Well, those
He's been
those
killing people
holes.
for thousands of years.
No,
He's
those
been killing people for thousands of years.
nah, bruh. Those holes in the neck could be ice picks. Yes, we saw him turn into a bat. We saw him in real time turn into a fucking bat.
All the names are blacked out.
Oh fuck.
And then LeBron James visits him 32 times after he's been convicted of being Dracula.
Poor LeBron. It's his real steroids. He has vampire powers. That's beautiful.
And then LeBron says, "Nah, he's just my friend."
He was a consummate contributor to one of my charities, so that's why I'm visiting him right now.
I've never done nothing sus with Dracula. I promise you.
Michael Tracey, by the way, your story right there. Michael Tracey would throw a fit if he heard it. He'd be like, "What did you just say?" He'd be so fucking tilted. I guarantee it. What are you talking about Dracula for? Like, yeah, because you don't fucking get it, you fucking idiot. Dummy.
I think
This
Crystal
guy's
picked up
fucking
on something.
stupid, right? Michael Tracey's a fucking dummy, isn't he?
Uh,
Or something,
yes,
or
but
worse.
he's doing something weird.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
picked
it'd be
up
worse.
Crystal. Well, she says she's not trying to double team him, right? So
Sweet.
that's why she's not talking too much. But she did interject at one point where he was saying, because of Me Too, you can't just, like these court cases are harder to handle, right? And she's like, you can't just smear them anymore as a court case. And he agreed. He's like, yeah, but that is basically his whole argument this entire time. He just smears the like he just smears one person, and that's the defense for the entire, like, everything. Like, there's no crime.
Yeah. Just because he's cooler than us and gets to hang out with the rich people. Remember, Virginia Giuffre lied in part of her story.
But Michael, I was asking about Leslie Wexner. But Virginia Giuffre, she wanted money.
She lied about Dershowitz. Forget George Mitchell. Forget Prince Andrew. Forget.
It's like
None of that's
if they find
retracted.
DNA of Epstein, like, at several murders, like, if they find that, it'd be like,
She,
yep, but she lied.
she lied about
Right?
Dershowitz, according to Dershowitz. Like, come on,
Yeah.
dude, are we this stupid? There's no way he's that dumb, right? So it's like there's some sort of
I mean,
other
you could just
reason
use
here.
Dershowitz testimony to be like, wait, that what? Right? Like,
Well,
you
he
just
kept his
use his.
underwear on, you know.
You don't need her, right? Like, you could
No.
erase everything she said and still have a crazy story.
Yeah,
Like a crazy, like, situation.
she is the most famous
He was
name, right? Obviously, but it doesn't
Yeah.
all live or die by her at all, right?
no.
Right.
We got
You don't
stories
need
from
her.
the 80s. We got stories from the 2000s. We got stories from the 90s.
And that is not an argument for just believe her, right? It's an argument for, hey, investigate. I'm sure there's some knuckleheads out there saying certain things, like confirming things, but like let's be honest, it all begs the question, which and the question means investigation, right? Like, okay, there's people claiming things. Let's investigate it. And Michael's like, no, we already have the answers. That's what he's fucking saying. This fucking dweebo, this sweaty Peter Jackson is telling us we have the answers already. Like, I don't fucking think so. Because Sugar just brought up a whole bunch of questions about whatever individuals that have not been answered for at all. Epstein.
Still not.
we had the first trial with Epstein, right? The first thing with Epstein with the quote unquote sweetheart deal. But that's not. I'm
Oh no, I meant
sorry.
Michael won't address that.
No, I'm just saying, like, you have that, but like the second thing where he killed himself allegedly, right? We don't have an actual trial for that, Michael. Thus, people want fucking answers, Michael. And yes, you blatantly just said that he's connected to a decent amount of like well-known figures in academics, in politics, in celebrity culture. And he's saying, just kill the story here, let's move on. Like, no. Only, in my opinion, only dishonest motherfuckers say shit like that.
Right. How could you be happy with a secret court case on anything?
It's stupid. It's dumb. It's dumb. It's blatantly dumb. And it's like, why are you sacrificing your credibility for this? Like, so harshly.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing, dude?
Michael, you might as well say I support the Patriot Act.
Well, that's
Yeah, I
that's
like
not a
secret
conspiracy.
court
That's
cases.
that's Republicans.
Yeah, fucking lock people up and throw them away. Don't tell them where. Don't tell anybody where you put them. I support that. I 100% support black site prisons across the planet.
But no, there's
Or
official
America.
documents for that. So,
Profiling, that was a great idea. I support that.
all right, let's continue. Here we go.
Ghislaine Maxwell trial, interestingly, Maureen Comey was the prosecutor who was just fired yesterday. And she then tried to prosecute, P. Diddy, Combs, et cetera, under like similar auspices of, like, asserting a sex trafficking ring, but like weirdly narrowing the claimed contours of the sex trafficking to 2 people or 1 person. So people hear trafficking and they think it must be the sprawling, multi-layered ring, when in reality, the grounds on which Maxwell was convicted was a sex trafficking, quote unquote, conspiracy that literally consisted of 2 people, according to the government, and according to what the 4 purported victims in that trial even claimed.
There were more
oh, and by the way,
co-conspirators.
That court case was never made public.
There were more than 2 co-conspirators that were exonerated of everything. So it's not just 2 people.
Yeah. Well, the grand jury stuff, the judge, like, it looked like a faux pas situation, right, from the administration of Trump with Ghislaine Maxwell, where like they knew they wouldn't get those actual records. Thus, but they appealed for them because they knew it would be denied, right?
No, but we know that like the first time when he was convicted, that
yes, you have that.
Like the reason, like why is Ghislaine not arrested at that same time? Because part of the agreement with Acosta was that the other people involved were
immune.
I forgot the word, but they wouldn't be charged.
Yeah, they had immunity.
Yeah.
And like that's also just a bizarre situation in the first place. But
it's very bizarre, but it means that they didn't even investigate those things. And if they did, they wouldn't be able to they'd have immunity. So
and what they get out of it,
there were
Jesse?
more than just those 2 people. It wasn't just Epstein and Ghislaine.
Yeah, exactly. But what did Epstein get out of? Like what was? Or sorry, not Epstein. What did the DAs of Florida get out of that to allow immunity to that level?
We don't know that.
Acosta's the one that gave it.
Well, like, I'm saying, like, what did he or his office get out of that by giving the other guys immunity?
He ended up in the administration.
It's no, Michael Tracey won't let you do that. Either way, like, we don't know is essentially the answer, right? We don't know what he got from. Like, why not investigate that, Michael Tracey? But he's like, no, it's official. It's on paper. We got it already. We're done.
He said no. He said no.
All right, let's keep going. Here we go.
I think it must be the sprawling, multi-layered ring, when in reality, the grounds on which Maxwell was convicted was a sex trafficking, quote unquote, conspiracy that literally consisted of two people, according to the government and according to what the 4 purported victims in that trial even claimed. Oh, and by the way, those victims in that trial just received multi-million-dollar payouts from the Epstein estate and from J.P. Morgan. And there was a similar Deutsche Bank settlement that came out whereby they could confidentially and non-adversarially have their claims adjudicated by a mediator. So if you had any tangential connection to Epstein, or if I had any tangential connection to Epstein, of course, I would work with my lawyers who are going to get a cut to come up with a story that would entitle me to millions of dollars, just like Virginia Giuffre did to become a multi-millionaire where she could purchase luxurious ocean-side estates.
You're so focused on Virginia Giuffre. I literally just told you there is another. I have her name here in my notes. I've got it right here.
Were her claims ever adjudicated in a criminal setting? Because that's where the highest evidentiary standards are in place.
Accused Prince Andrew of inappropriate sexual contact while posing for a photo at the Epstein mansion, suggesting that she was trafficked there. That's in a sworn affidavit in the very defamation case that you're talking about. Caroline B., another anonymous individual. But listen, I mean, this is my thing. Did you read the Deutsche?
Call for the trial then.
Hold on. Did you read the Deutsche Bank settlement with the New York Finance? Yes. And what does it say in there? Epstein had multiple financial transactions which broke bank rules, in which he's transferring money to Eastern European women for apparent sex trafficking purposes. It's in the fucking report there, Michael, from the New York Financial.
You made $800,000 or $800 million for Citibank to settle on their stuff. To settle
sugar
with
curse.
the governments was $950 million. For the shit Epstein was doing, 2 different banks put them together, and we're talking $950 million that they had to spend for them covering up for him. What's that about?
I don't even know. All I know is that sugar cursed. Got him the curse. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? All right, here we go.
Trial then.
Hold on. Did you read the Deutsche Bank settlement with the New York Finance? Yes. And what does it say in there? Epstein had multiple financial transactions which broke bank rules, in which he's transferring money to Eastern European women for apparent sex trafficking purposes. It's in the fucking report there, Michael, from the New York Financial Services, in which they fined the bank for breaking its own policies, for sending and wiring money all over the world for apparent purposes after he's a convicted sex offender. I mean, you think he's wiring all of these money for hookers just for himself? Because that's not even what they say in the New York Financial Services document regarding the Deutsche Bank settlement.
But
You're basically saying these people are doing this to get rich.
If he's trafficking, if he's participating in a trafficking conspiracy to supply minors to others, how is it that over the course of over a decade of incredibly intensive and lucrative litigation, not a single credible allegation of a third-party individual having minors trafficking them has been established? How come after every media outlet, at least post 2018, became hugely invested in this story? So you have Netflix documentaries, HBO documentaries, newspaper and magazine articles, podcasts out the wazoo. How come none of them have ever established any third-party individual to whom a minor was trafficked? Or is it because everybody is just so afraid of offending Bill Clinton? No. Really?
Well, no.
Remember how many people died?
How come they didn't extract a lucrative settlement from Bill Clinton?
Michael, the U.S. Virgin Islands,
credibly accused of having a minor trafficked.
The U.S. Virgin Islands, who has the most evidence around this, because so many of the heinous accusations, I won't say crime, were committed on their soil, had an attorney general who actually was going forward with a lot of this prosecution. What happened to that attorney general, Michael? They were fired, and the current attorney general, who is in charge of the case, used to work for the Epstein estate. So that seems like a little bit of a cover up and a problem there, no? Especially whenever that's something that happened to have been intersected in the past with exactly the lucrative dispersion of much of the Epstein estate. They have attorney general.
Can I ask you this? Let me ask you this, Saagar.
No. He asked a question. Sugar should have fucking said, all right, answer that question. How'd that happen? That's what he should have did. Make Michael answer that. But instead, Michael's going to rebuttal with a question himself. Here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you concede that there is a perverse incentive or an incentive for purported self-identified victims? Because by the terms of these settlements, all the purported victims have to do is self-identify as a victim. They can do so confidentially, meaning they don't have to be cross-examined. They don't have to have their claims adversarially scrutinized. And then there's no downside reputational risk for them in the event that they're not adjudicated to be bona fide victims.
And you know why?
Would you agree that there's a perverse incentive in terms of dramatizing claims to maximize one's chances to receive the biggest possible payout? And were you aware that the 4 people that Maureen Comey and her fellow prosecutors had to settle on to bring forward in the Maxwell trial in 2021, receiving multi-million-dollar payouts because they were counseled by their attorneys that in order to obtain the biggest possible settlement, they should
Michael, it sounds like you think Ghislaine Maxwell should
Does
walk.
that create a perverse incentive structure or not?
That's what I said. Exactly.
Couldn't they get stuff from, like, let me ask this of you, Jesse. Would they be able to get stuff just from the Epstein estate itself? Would victims be able to get money from just Epstein's estate, which is supposed to be massive, right? As far as amount of money?
Yes, they would be able to. Yes.
Would they get? Are they getting greedy to where they're like, okay, let me dig into Ehud Barak and Bill Clinton and Donald Trump or some shit like that? Is that like? Would it make sense to do that? Money sense.
I wouldn't concede to him like what he just said about like. Well, he's basically doing this whole thing. He's almost making a caricature of victims, like as if they're not victims. It's like, well, first it's like, well, these ladies, they got money, right? Like,
yeah, he's
so
them. Yeah,
that's one thing, and then he turns that their compensation into like, oh, they're trying to get the maximum they could, and then the whole thing turns into like, okay, they're basically greedy people that like anybody could just walk up and just say, oh yeah, I was a victim, and why aren't there more people just doing that? Like what the fuck kind of like how he just said that in the same interview where he just describes that Me Too made it harder to just like sweep things under the rug, where like you can't just call these girls a liar, but in the same exact thing where you should just like typically you would just smear these girls, but that's what he's doing. That is his main argument. Like just smear the girls.
They are money grubbing. But also legitimate victims, but they just want extra money, is essentially his argument, right?
I don't hear him concede that they're legitimate victims. Like, or I mean, in a way, he's saying that there were like, has he called them victims? Like, he's yeah.
Oh
I
my
don't think he's
god!
putting them in
So
that
what?
context.
They're 16-year-olds, just like, listen, we can make a lot of money off of this. Let's all conspire to entrap Jeffrey Epstein and get his money, 20, 30 years later. Is that the actual thing?
His framing doesn't allow them victimhood, whether he believes there was sex or not, and that they were minors. He doesn't give them.
Is he doing the? They know what they were
in
doing.
his discussion.
Type of shit. He's doing the. They know what they were doing thing.
Those 16-year-olds knew if they slept with those million and billionaires, they would get some money. So their words useless.
No, Dubster, because Michael's claim is that there wasn't a bunch of billionaires involved here. It's more of they hamstrung Epstein himself or his estate at least or whatever to get like and
one billionaire.
The narrative of the billionaires is just to make more money than what they would have gotten. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what Michael's saying. If you make the story more sensational, then you'll get more money out of this. So let's do this, right?
Right. And he got Saagar to concede that point, which what he was what like when you look at it from a manipulative perspective, what he's actually conceding to is first, something that you don't have any evidence happen because unless you're referring to the people who already got money, right? Like, which you're not. You're referring to, well, there's an incentive for more people who weren't even involved to lie because you could be anonymous. They won't check out your story. He's saying he's basically making up people who are liars, who are trying to just take advantage of this money grab, who don't exist. And he's making that up and saying, Saagar, wouldn't you agree about this? And Saagar say yes. That would happen. And
That was argumentative. That Sugar did that. He did that because he's like, all right, fine, I'll take your point, but he
okay,
tried to move on
but
from it, right? Yeah, good.
but the whole
Hold on. Then that opens
Michael
to
Tracy
another
premise
question.
is about using things that are factual. Like, why are you bringing up this smoke and mirrors type of thing here to do that? Like,
I
that is a manipulation.
He has some sort of need to
Well,
make this discredited, but yeah, go ahead, Dubster.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like, but yeah.
well, now he's opening the Pandora's box of looking at a settlement. Now he's
been doing
breached
that,
that
though.
barrier.
Shame.
No,
You're
no,
saying Michael?
he's wanted. No. So here's how you pose this question: would Virginia Giuffre retracting her thing on Dershowitz be more believable if it was $40 million or less believable if it was $40 million versus if it was $30,000?
Yeah. It doesn't work.
It would have no.
No,
Would she be more? Would she be more believable at 30,000 or less believable at 30,000, or would she be more believable at 40 million or less believable at 40 million?
For Michael, like for me in
That's,
general, that means nothing. I want to know what the truth is. Let's investigate it. But I get what you're saying in regards to like, yeah, if she took
that's
like
opening
way
Pandora's
less
box.
money, then yeah.
So if you've ever seen a settlement that became public, which Stormy Daniels is a case like that, she said what the payment was.
Yeah.
So Trump sued her for like 10 times the payment. And he won that case because she disclosed the payment. And so does that make someone more believable for taking a low payment or less believable for a low payment or more believable for a high payment or less believable? Because that means if it's a higher payment, this person that paid it also thought it was worth more to shut them up. Or
Yeah.
it was such a bad PR thing for them, they paid whatever it took to shut them up.
Yep.
And you can look at it both ways for low and high. And now you've opened
Shout out to Shannon
Pandora's
Sharp.
boxes of looking at the numbers of a settlement, not knowing the reality of what the settlement's about.
Exactly. And you'd have to actually like make an argument for like let's say the numbers were shown somehow, right? The payments. Then you have to showcase and make like an actual arbitrary threshold of like what amount of money is worth it versus not worth it. What was her life before she got the money and after? Like the whole bunch of scenarios. And by the way, the whole idea in the case of it does not ride on Virginia Giuffre, her getting money, or any of it. Like you have to go through every single victim and showcase that it was all just girls trying to take advantage of some guy to make money. I mean, like he brought up the Me Too thing. I can't believe the right is buying into this. They didn't believe the whole Me Too thing. It's like that's where you're going. Are you saying like the actual thing is like they are doing this strictly for money? Strictly. And everything that Epstein allegedly did is not even, it's just girls abusing the situation for their own money. But he also says the earlier case, in the Miami case, right? Where it's like, he's like, oh, he just had good lawyers. That's why he got away with such a sweetheart deal. But then he later on, like after this video, with the Whitney Webb thing, and says like it wasn't a sweetheart deal. It's like someone make sense of this fucking guy for me. Please. I'm telling, like, go watch the video where he tries to address Whitney Webb's work, and he's criticizing her using the word "sweetheart deal." But in this very video, what does he say? Epstein had really good lawyers, and that's how he got the deal that he got. So, are you calling it a sweetheart deal here? Like, who the fuck is this guy, and what the fuck is going? Like, what's wrong with him? What's going on with him? Like, actually, and no, don't leap to fucking Pizzagate. Leap to questions. Like, yo, what's going on with you with this? Like, why are you so into this? Like, actually,
If you catch one pedophile, you catch all of us. I mean, shit.
If you have good
you
lawyers,
sound like
you
Opeth right
get-
there, so clearly.
on the official record, you get lesser charges than what you're actually guilty of, right? Like that's a very common.
would
like,
please you're saying
good lawyer
Yeah, yeah,
um,
okay, yeah.
ability.
But this less of a thing. This less.
Well, what he got,
for the charges.
yeah, he had reduced charges. Yeah.
Like that less without snitching on someone. Right, that was also part of the Whitney Webb
well,
video.
I
where
think
it's like he did all that without telling on anyone. He just got that naturally. Like, come on, right? You have to give something up to get that deal. You got immunity for his friends too, right? So it's like, how'd you
Yes.
do? How'd you get all of that in the deal? Like, what'd you do?
Yeah.
You had to have like for simple situations or normal situations, you would have had to like tell on someone to get that deal, right?
Or
Or
Lord of War. I'm Lord of War. Just I'm a necessary evil. Deal with it.
yes, fucking Nicolas Cage saying like, listen, in 2 minutes you're gonna get a phone call from someone, and you're gonna end up letting me go. Then the guy gets the phone call, and they have to let him out.
It's some higher ranking guy, and you'll probably get promoted. But they'll tell you, we gotta release him for national security. Because sometimes I can make deals that the president doesn't want his face on.
By the way, that's based on a real person, but don't worry, there's no court documents, so thus it's not real. Didn't happen. There's no veracity at all to what was being said in that story because there's no court documents. Duh.
Right.
Thanks, Michael.
Michael Tracey.
Thanks, Michael. Genius. You brilliant. You sweaty Peter Jackson.
Gun running's not a thing. It doesn't happen.
He's sweaty Peter Jackson without the Lord of the Rings, by the way. That's who he is. Trash can. All right, here we go.
I agree that
am I contrarian?
Crystal,
I agree that it quote
Clothesline
could
this
create a
fool.
perverse incentive structure. At the same time, many of these are legally justifiable because of their proven claim in a court where she was convicted by a jury of her peers,
Did you
in
know
which
that
she was found
adults?
guilty.
Did you know that full-fledged adults, so not minors, adults were eligible for these payouts, and actually one adult testified at
So wait,
the
Michael,
Maxwell
let me
trial,
just-
meaning she was
let me
above
actually-
legal
Yeah,
age.
what are you
whenever
saying?
any
Sweating
of
for
these
it.
offenses
Nobody should
occurred.
ever be able to sue
asserting
somebody
that there
or
were-
have legal, have legal justification whenever they are a victim of like in the case of
Well,
the
if we're talking
Maxwell,
about child sex
how can you say
trafficking
that
ring,
the
then
Max-
the fact that people who were adults could receive payouts
But, I mean,
because
are you just- are
many
you
years
saying
after
there
the
were
fact
no-
they could
What,
claim that
no
they were
adult
coerced
should
or
ever be able to
received
sue
false
anybody
promise.
else and be
still
able to get any
chokeslamming.
money for it for damages? I mean, it's like, what are you saying, that our entire legal civil court system is false and stuff? By that standard, the ability to claim damages in itself is a perverse incentive. Now, I agree it can be weaponized, but I mean, in the Maxwell case, you're
Therefore,
basically
great, we agree.
Yeah, okay, but then I don't know what to say, Michael. Run on,
Maximize for
then you should
weaponized
support
for financial gain,
Yeah, then you
right?
should support Republicans.
Oh, it could be. So that means that is the case? Is that what you're saying, Michael? Or are you in the same boat as everyone else where we're like, yo, show us the fucking documents about this? Once again, they could say any fucking theory they want to about the case. The actual overall point is people are like, okay, show us what's happened. Hey, if they're given something and they're like, all right, this is all bullshit because we all know that this is Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and it's all Pizzagate. That's one thing. But the thing is, they have given us nothing, Michael. Do you get that yet? If you want to be so studious and scientific about it, send out the fucking results and then see reactions. Because let's be real, forensically proven, doctored fucking video, 14 terabytes of child porn that they can't show us, and documents that everyone had already is not good enough. Sorry, Michael. Someone help this fucking fool out. Like, what are we talking about at this point?
I think Saagar's helping him.
He's trying, but this fool doesn't even fucking get it. He's just
No,
sweating
he's
more.
helping
That's all that's all we're getting is Michael Tracey's sweat beads. The fuck? Not actually getting anything. Like, you're a journalist? What the fuck are we doing here?
That would be like if we were taught only the perspective of war from the king's point of view. It really would be like whatever they say is why the war happened and how the results turned out.
It's the only documents we
Opinions
have.
of the war. We only saw pictures that the king chose to take.
No. Your metaphor or whatever. Here's the more accurate version. It's somebody took a picture of the criminal doing the act, right? And then they showed the public, but then Michael's like, well, that's not in the court documents. That's some guy on YouTube doing that, or some guy on Twitter doing that, so thus it doesn't count. It's not worthy. That's what he's actually doing. Give me the official documents, but also dismiss anyone outside of the quote-unquote official thing. I mean, if they give you something, I still have to deny it as being legit.
But it's a secret court, and that photo could be in the secret court.
Where's your proof, though? Where's your proof?
I'm sorry. You won. I tap out, Michael. You beat me.
Did you know that these girls took money, okay? So that means the entire case is all bullshit, just so you know, okay?
What if it wasn't money? What if the settlement wasn't money?
Well, the conspiracy theorists are all over the place, okay? And the real journalists that wear Walkman microphone or headphones, we know what's better here. We know better as we sweat beads trying to make this make sense.
What if the settlement was we'll let
bro.
you live for? What if the settlement was we'll let you live for 3 more years?
Shave your chest, you fuckface, Michael Tracey. Go shave your chest, bro. No chest hair for you.
No, what if that was the settlement for Virginia Giuffre? We'll let you live for 3 more years.
He'd giggle and move on, probably. Obviously. Or do you mean like a real settlement where it's like actual people interacting with each other? Like, yeah, I don't care what money we give you, we can fuck you up. 5 ways from Sunday, whatever the saying is. All right.
Sure.
Like those are like the real. Like if that happened, that'd be the real settlement. But Michael's not looking for that because it's not in court documents anywhere. There's no quotables. There's no stenographer typing out the exact, transcript of language being used. So thus it doesn't count. Duh. Trust sweaty ass Michael Tracey. Here we go.
Or
by the way, it's okay.
What if the settlement was? What if the settlement was? We're gonna fake kill you on TV, but we'll let you live.
Okay.
We'll let you have money just like Epstein, and you're just gonna be disappeared. But
the Hitler treatment.
Yeah, but we're gonna discredit you. But we're gonna discredit everything you said. And we got this guy Michael Tracey. He's gonna do the discrediting. And he's just gonna cite the Dershowitz stuff you said, not the rest of it.
Then this fucking derpy dweeb Michael Tracey to come in and be stupid and take all the cannon fodder for the topic, even though it's not working. Right? No one gives a fuck about Michael Tracey. No one knows who the fuck Michael Tracey is. People look like, oh, this guy's an idiot, and like walk past him. Next, right?
Preach his lane.
As Glenn keeps getting better deals, she's like, it's not a sweetheart deal. Like, compared to the crime committed, I think so. Right? But anyways, all right. Here we go. Let's keep it moving.
We want tort reform or whatever the fuck, that all that is.
Okay,
Like,
maybe
yeah,
I
you
would
got- you got
support
sugar out
reform
here
around this
cursing.
particular
Let
issue
me-
because it's been so insanely
Let me
abused.
ask. We'll try to close this up. Saagar, a question for you is one of the things that I've seen from people who say, look, there's, we
sugar
believe Trump
huffing
and there's
Diet
no there
Coke.
there is they say, well, look, if the Democrats had access to this material and Trump was potentially implicated, don't you think they would have released that? What is your response to that claim?
me or Michael?
Yeah, you, Saagar.
Okay. Yeah, for me, look, I originally thought that it was actually a decent argument, but considering Trump's
It's not.
behavior now so far, and this is actually where I wonder if Michael would disagree with me. Michael, why not we just release all of the evidence within the FBI and within whatever the case that has from the Department of Justice, the secret indictment from 2007, which has never yet been made public, that was prior to that non-prosecution agreement, release everything that's in the case file and just show it to the American public, and we can all make up our minds. That's
Sixth Amendment.
Yes. Ask that
Sixth
question,
Amendment.
Ask that question and leave it there and make Michael answer it. Because guess what? Your questions for the government are not going to get answered here, Sugar. All you have is sweaty Michael Tracey to deal with. So, ask him that question and then step back. That's it. Ask a simple question, step back. Hey, why can't we see what we're seeing here? Show us what you have. Why are you bullshitting around and dancing around with this? Show us what you have. That's it. Do you agree, Michael? That's all you need. And then let him dance, backflip, sweat, whatever the fuck he's got to do. If he's that full of shit. But make sure, just ask the question and walk away. Here we go. I want to hear the answers to this. Here we go.
case file and just show it to the American public, and we can all make up our minds. That's where maybe you'll be vindicated, Michael. Maybe it won't show any of this
I
child
agree.
sex
Release
trafficking.
everything.
I don't know
Release
why
everything.
it can't.
I
there
agree
we
with
go.
Dershowitz.
Okay, good.
Dershowitz said
All right.
said for the past 10 years, look, release everything. I waive any right to privacy. I've been falsely accused. I'm going to be vindicated. So I want maximum disclosure. I'm in favor of that, but
Okay,
there are two judges in New York who are keeping materials under seal. You know why? To protect the purported victims, mainly, maybe to protect others who could be defamed by those victims. So if people want to go lobby, Breaking Point should go lobby in the Southern District of New York for disclosure of the files that remain under seal. But I think the fact that Dan Bongino, Saagar, would you agree with me that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel and all these people obviously dangled these tantalizing little tidbits in front of the right-wing social media audience on the idea that Trump was going to storm into office with his most loyal, tenacious soldiers and expose the deep state, demonic, sex trafficking Democrats. And that whole narrative was obviously politically expedient, bullshit that they very cleverly used to gin up excitement to vote Republican in 2024. And it wouldn't necessarily translate to any concrete revelations once Republicans got into power. The idea that there was a consolidation.
It's full of shit.
It's yeah, they did do that, but the question was about, he just kind of knocked it off by saying, Dershowitz said do that. It's what if the guy understands that won't happen? Thus, he can just say that very proudly without any actual, reality of that actually coming true, right? Of them actually, going through the actually showcasing the documents, right? But go ahead, Jesse.
But Dershowitz, the lead leftist lawyer for the right.
Oh, okay.
I think he's full of shit because
Besides John Turner or Turney, what's the guy's name?
Who cares? Go ahead, Jesse.
he's counting on basically official statements when he wants to, right? So he uses official statements for evidence, and then when he wants to, he'll use, right now, he's saying, well, these guys were dangling this, that they were once Trump gets in office. Okay, they were doing that. Those aren't, I don't know if those are official statements, but
They're not.
as campaign, they're talking, right? But what I do know, though, from their statements and what they're telling us is a truth. Now, once they are in office, they tell us there's nothing, right? They insist that there's nothing, and then each time there's more. there's much more to scrutinize. Whatever they show us gives us questions that they can answer, but
Yeah.
that they're holding out on. So if you don't look at that, especially as a journalist, and say like, show me that, then like I think he's full of shit.
Oh, he's trying to make this kind of a non-story. And
Yeah.
I think almost like the way Dershowitz said, if Dershowitz, like I did see that from Dershowitz, hey, yeah, release everything. Probably knowledgeable that it won't be released. I think it's the same thing for Michael Tracey saying, yeah, I would love for them to release everything. Meanwhile, he's like aware that they're not going to release everything. It's not going to happen. And the actual circumstances of them not releasing it actually does look sus on its own. But if you go into that, he's gonna be like, well, you don't have those answers anywhere. So like, where's the court documents for them like purposely not trying to showcase the documents? Where's that at? Huh? Like I think he would do that. And it's like it's just bizarre behavior. And it's like, what are you looking for, bro? Are you that like someone hurt your feelings or something? Is there a Me Too thing on you or something like that you're worried about? Like, what's going on here, bro? Like, just being like from person to fuck the documents, fuck journalism, fuck all that shit. Human to human, what the fuck is going on with you, man? Because it doesn't make sense. If you're mad about people sensationalizing something, what would your answer be to go the opposite direction? It'd be like,
Shut it down. Don't investigate.
Well, the answer would be like, here's the real case. These guys are sensationalizing, right? That'd be like their actual answer. But why is he so hardcore at the opposite direction? Is that what he walks away with? Like, yo, there's nothing to see here. Is that his actual answer? And fuck, I could believe someone doing that, but Sugar brought up some interesting points that this guy walked away from. What do I do with that, Michael Tracey?
He walked away from that and provided the most extreme claims, all bunched together as if like some.
Well, he's
They're not
caught
even
stone
saying that.
cold, dude. Like Sugar brought up Leslie Wexner and the money that Epstein had and the housing that Epstein had, right? The properties, and he brought up Virginia. Like Michael brought up Virginia Giuffre in response to that. It's like, is that not like blatantly dodging the question? I mean, blatantly doing it. Like, what's your excuse for that? Is that you trying to like showcase that these other guys are sensationalizing? No, that looks like you're avoiding the fucking question. I have no idea what reason why you're doing that, but that's what it fucking looks like. And yeah, you should answer for that. It's like, what is this? Is it journalistic pride? What is it? Guess what? Conspiracy theories might actually hold up in a certain way because the way you're answering these questions. But go ahead, Dubster.
Did he only become a Trump supporter once Trump wanted to shut down the Epstein case?
He is not a Trump supporter, but that one point you made before,
He is now.
the point you made before, like, why are we still talking about this? Is Michael Tracey's point. Why are we still talking about those? It's the same. I think it's almost 1-to-1, like very close to each other. Maybe it's the idea is like, yo, Trump won because of the Epstein stuff, and he's like mad about Trump winning because he's such a bad politician or something. He's a bad policymaker or something like that. So thus he's like maybe extra upset that Trump fans are still hanging on to this story. But then again, it's like the Trump support, like the way that quote unquote Trump supporters are behaving with all this is that they're mad at Trump for not actually like it's actually working against Trump. It's saying fuck you, Trump, for the way you're going through this case. So that's why like it doesn't work, right? It doesn't make sense. Like I can't figure out his motive. I really can't. I'm just.
Ben Shapiro only started supporting Trump once he attacked Iran.
You got muffled there. Say that again.
Ben Shapiro only started supporting Trump since he attacked Iran.
No, he's been on the Trump train since you realized he was a full-blown neocon. Ben Shapiro been on the fucking Trump train. It's during his first administration. He was on the Trump train. He realized, like, okay, this guy's one of us. He's a full-blown neocon. He's one of us. But Shapiro's reason for dismissing the Epstein stuff is because it gets tied to Mossad. That's my guess. That's my guess. Personal guess. Oh, they're tying this to Israel and Mossad? All right, this story needs to die. Cool to say Epstein didn't kill himself back in the day, all right? But anyways, all right, let's keep going. Here we go. Crystal, clothesline this fool, please. Take a train, a bus, a plane, find this fool, and put him through a fucking table. Then tell Kyle to get rid of his nipple rings. All right, here we go.
Dated Epstein list that the DOJ has in some vault somewhere that they could just release was always kind of a
I agree.
confabulation to get people all exercised.
I'm on the record here, Michael. I completely agree with you.
I don't agree with them because of what Trump has said out loud, right? Where they're like, oh, we have what we have, right? Through Pam Bondi, right? We have what we have. And then all of a sudden he says, it's a Democratic hoax. Now, Michael Tracey, someone's lying, right? Either the Democrats lied and made a hoax of an investigation of Epstein, or Trump is lying and has documents where maybe, who knows, it could be him named, it could be his friends named, it could be whatever. Either way, it begs the question, right, Michael Tracey? There's no way around that, right? They openly contradicted their own fucking statements on something. Thus, there is something there. Whether it's a hoax or it's legit, either way, there is something there. And it begs the question, Michael Tracey, well, why the fuck would you do that? Either way, why would you do that, right? It begs the question.
Right.
But Michael Tracey's saying, like, oh, there's nothing to see here. So please answer that fucking question, Michael Tracey. Of course he's not going to, most likely, but here we go. Either way.
And it wouldn't necessarily translate to any concrete revelations once Republicans got into power. The idea that there was a consolidated Epstein list that the DOJ has in some vault somewhere that they could just release was always kind of a confabulation to get people all exercised.
I'm on the record here, Michael. I completely agree with you.
That's what the Trump administration said. Like, there is no list. Like, yeah, some people are being dumb and silly and thinking that there's an actual, like, PDF of a list of names. We're not saying, like, the list is just like a kind of a catchphrase for it. It's not actually about a list, you dummy. Duh. Like, no one's asking for an actual, like, printed out list of names. Like, no. It's the idea is the investigation and the names connected to it. Duh. Unless he feels, hold on. Unless he feels like so almighty and so genius and brilliant and intelligent that like the rest of us didn't figure out that it wasn't an actual like name for name list. You fucking dummy. No one fucking thinks that. Maybe some do. But not everyone's thinking that way. There are real thinkers looking at this topic and saying like, well, okay, the idea of a quote unquote list of names it's the idea of like, okay, who's connected to this guy around certain circumstances. That's what people are asking for. If it's not there, then you can release it, and we can see that that whatever person was not actually involved in X, Y, or Z. That's what evidence is. That's what investigation is, Michael. Is this guy this stupid? There's no way he's this dumb, right? No chance, right?
Hold on, though. There could be, once someone goes through it all, they could formulate a list to break down and make it easier for you to look and be categorized. There could be a categorized list made from looking at all of it.
Well, I think
that's a possible thing.
Okay, I think
here's one list of all the pedos. Here's one list of all the
no,
gun.
That'd be a bad idea. That'd be a bad idea.
No,
right?
It's possible to make a list. I'm not saying they have made a list. I'm saying you could make a list if you had access to it all.
Yeah, but the idea
of crimes. Here's 150 people participate in this type of crime with him. Here's 20 people participate in this type of crime with him. You could do that if you had access to it all, but nobody. I'm not sure if anyone has access to it all. I don't know
But they would all
because they
be
haven't released anything.
they would all be individual like files on different people, and to the extent for
Right.
which they investigate
would
each one.
Very
be
much
extra work.
contextual. It'd be very much contextual.
It would
I would
be-
hope, right?
It would be extra work to make a list. It would be someone making it easier for you to look at versus you just looking at it yourself.
Well, I don't think people are looking for the FBI's assessment on the scenario. I think they're looking for give us the like kind of the raw data of the scenario. I think that's what people were actually asking for, so that they can dig through it and be like, well, granted, most people won't dig through it, right? They'll listen to their favorite content creator dig through it, right? It's probably more likely the case. But either way,
Right.
it's not the idea like, oh, the FBI says, makes a list and says, these guys are pedophiles, these guys aren't, these guys are maybe
Gun runners.
maybe they're
These guys are bakers.
questionable or something, like whatever, right? Like, I don't think, as far as like serious research into this, I don't think people were going that direction. Maybe like, some
I'm
dum-dums
saying-
were, for sure,
So
but not everyone was doing
the
that.
simple idea of the list to keep it simple for the average Joe that doesn't have time to fucking read through everything can be presented a list if someone else went through it all.
That should be for content
That's-
creators, honestly. That's for them that, like, okay, according to my assessment, these guys are bad guys, these guys are okay guys, these guys are good guys, or whatever the fuck, right? Like,
Right.
that'd be more
These-
likely their job.
These
But
guys,
as far as what the FBI,
yeah,
DOJ, and the presidency should be doing, it's straight up like, here's the information that we have, that we gathered. Here it is. That should be it. That's what I think. Like at the core, people are actually asking for. That's it. It's like the idea, like, but he's using the same talking points that I think the White House is using. Of like,
Right.
yeah, there is no like list. Like, yeah, we know that, dummies. We know that there is no like straight up. Okay, here's list of bad guys. Like, no one's asking for that. As far as like anyone like seriously into the fucking topic, no one's asking for that. There are
Right.
people that are
And
doing
tally-
that, but I'm not saying like.
and tally marks next to each name on how many people they raped.
Like that would be stupid. I think that'd be a stupid ask, right? But
Yeah.
because the idea of like Epstein list goes trending, I think Michael thinks that that's what people are actually asking for. And once again, maybe there are some people doing that, and maybe they are using those words, even though they may not mean like actual like list. They may mean like contextually, like, okay, here's the document showcasing Ehud Barak, engaged in sexual acts with an underage girl in whatever year or time period or location, right? That I think that's more what people mean by list than like, here's the bad guys. It's like, it's stupid on its face, right? It's obviously stupid. If they just said names on a list, that wouldn't be good enough, I don't think. People would complain about that. It'd be like, well, what are these, like, where's the documents to showcase, like, these guys are guilty about this or that? Or let's say I believe they're guilty, but like, show me where I can point out how guilty they are, right? They want evidence for that too. They'd ask for more at that point. But Michael's a fucking idiot, or let's be honest, full of shit about this topic, at least. I don't know his reason, but
You're just mad Jay-Z was on P. Diddy's list. I get it.
oh god, whatever. Let's keep going.
Sitting there next to Cuba Gooding Jr.
Shout the Hova. Let's keep playing. Here we go.
With you for the political expedience purposes, but I don't agree that it's bullshit. When I've also said it's a canard to say that there's some Epstein client list where it's like,
There you
hey,
go, Sugar.
fucked a kid, now supports Israel. That's not the
So
way
Kash
that
Patel was
documents work.
peddling a canard.
Look, I'm not here to defend Cash Patel. I agree with you completely that the way that they frame, look, there's two options. They
He's
either
correct,
ginned
by
it
the way.
up and exploited perhaps what they claim is the rape of thousands of children or hundreds of victims or whatever for politically expedient purposes, or if they did that, which is disgusting, or they're covering up said thing, which is equally disgusting. perhaps more so, actually, on the latter
I would
part.
love for them. I totally agree. I would love for the maximum amount of material to
Yes.
come out
I
because
want
you know
FBI
what? When
302s,
Virginia
the original
Giuffre,
secret indictment.
who you happily conceded was a serial fabulous.
No, I didn't say that.
as
I
she
said
was
that she's a
required-
troubled woman who, yes, has been proven to have lied.
So now
on
you
the
don't
record.
agree that she was a serial
I didn't.
fabulous?
No, I'm not going to use your level of framing, which I actually do, frankly, think is disgusting because it points her as the central character, which you've self-appointed. It ignores the other individuals
She's
who I
the one
just
who
named.
introduced the whole sex trafficking theory.
Yes, with
2014.
with the
All right,
photo
all
of
right.
Prince
derives
Andrew.
from
I
her.
just,
We
it's like
get
the
where
photo
you are in
exists.
Virginia
The
Giuffre.
photo
Go
exists.
ahead, finish your
Yeah.
point.
Okay, so I mean, I agree that a maximum disclosure should be made, and that these concealments that are still in place to protect the supposed accusers, many of whom are serial fabulous, but yet receive
Ask him what he thinks
enormous
he'll find.
payouts from these settlement funds
all
that
right.
don't
These
even
poor-
scrutinize
these poor-
claims.
Yeah,
Because when
See, he keeps going down that. Like, they're full of shit. So thus, like he's like doing that, right? Whatever. Okay, here we go.
when that scrutiny was
Grifting.
applied to Virginia Giuffre, as more and more information had to be revealed, she had to concede that she just made an enormous
Michael,
amount of stuff
we got,
up.
we got
Settlement-
the
settlement
Virginia
doesn't
Giuffre.
prove that,
Go on.
but-
that would
yeah.
that would probably
Yeah,
pertain
she lived
to
in
others
such a
associated
life
with
of
this sordid
expedient
saga.
luxury. You know, it's just whatever. All right, continue.
She didn't live. She did not live a life of luxury. She didn't have an oceanfront mansion in Australia and a ranch,
she
and she
killed
didn't make.
herself.
She didn't make
Like,
$15
she
million
committed
dollars.
suicide, bro. Like, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Well, let me.
it was so.
He's like, who cares? Like, yeah, whatever. Who cares? He
He
shrugs
did
it
that a few
off.
times.
He
He
shrugs
just
it off like,
shrugged.
who cares? Means nothing. He's such a fucking
He
little
shrugged the
sweaty
victims,
little weirdo.
like repeatedly in this.
Is he not a sweaty little weirdo? I mean, you're acting like a weirdo, bro. Like, fuck. He's the little dumb fuck that walks up to a wrestler and said, wrestling's fake. And he got smacked in the fucking face for it. Like, is that fake? Huh? Is that fake? Smacked again. Is that fake too? Huh? Oh, please, please, don't touch me anymore. Pain, stop it. That's real pain. Stop it, please. No fucking pussy, bro. Is that how you deal with the dead like that? Huh? Yeah, shrug it off. Little fucking sweaty little weirdo. Fuck out of here. Go curl your fucking hair, you little pussy. He's acting like a fucking weirdo, bro. He really is. Sorry for shit talking, but it is what it is. He's acting like a little fucking weirdo. Well, here we go.
Front mansion in Australia and a ranch,
she
and she
killed
didn't make.
herself.
She didn't make
Like,
$15
she
million
committed
dollars.
suicide, bro. Like, yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like,
Well, let
Even
me-
Sugar's like,
it
bro.
was so great for her that she decided to enter. I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah,
I just,
because
I
she had
honestly
a
find it
domestic.
disgusting.
Because she got, according to her estranged husband, she became increasingly violent and attacked him. The local Australian authorities
now let's
agreed
take this
with
guy's
the
word
husband,
for it.
and
Yeah,
then she
this-
lost custody of her children and became distraught.
I mean,
could that maybe reflect on her
again,
credibility?
That-
could
that-
that
what
maybe
that
give some
reflects to
insight into
me-
why she was not called as a witness in the Maxwell
That
trial?
reflects to me a pattern of behavior of somebody who was obviously, in my opinion, abused whenever she was young and as a child. And that's
Did she
exactly,
lack credibility?
So, Michael, let me wrap up
cares?
with
She
this.
obviously did, Saagar. I
Let
know
me-
it's like it's difficult
He
to
had not-
admit
okay,
because
Michael,
yeah, I
you're
said,
accused
I
of
said
like
she's on the record,
re-victimizing
she's lied.
victims.
I
but
just
I
want
just
to
Okay, so you have like little fuck faces leaning into like Virginia Roberts and full of shit. But like Sugar asked you about Leslie Wexner, right? You didn't answer that fucking question. You still haven't. Instead, you tailored back to this again. It's your fifth fucking time arguing about Virginia fucking Roberts or Giuffre or whatever. It's like, is that your lean on? Fuck. Maybe you got fucking something out of Virginia Giuffre's fucking deal too, apparently. You got a fucking argument out of it, apparently. Weeb. Here we go.
Hey,
Beyond
I'm not
the
going to
realm
sit
of
here.
doubt.
I'm not going to sit here and
Last
besmirch somebody who killed herself and who obviously was a
She
troubled
admitted she
individual.
fabricated a claim
also,
against a prominent individual
All
for
right,
almost
okay.
a decade.
Okay.
It's
All right.
pretty
Your
clear
feelings are
that
clear.
our-
So are mine. All right. Go ahead.
Michael, a final question here
All right,
for you.
Sugar's talking shit now.
How do you
You're a
explain
pussy, I get it.
the fact that you had the Trump administration go from the big influencer
Yes.
phase one Epstein files coming out, we're reviewing Pam Bondi's, I'm reviewing thousands of hours of footage, to
Yes.
2-page memo, nothing to see here, we're moving on, case closed, to Trump now saying, well, there are files that were created by Obama and Hillary and Comey and Brennan, and it's all a hoax. And
Why
that
do that?
everyone needs to move on, and there's nothing to see here. So how do you explain
It's a video I
his
found.
specifically changing narrative of what's going on here, and the fact that obviously it seems bizarre the way he's handling
jaw-
this in the
his
worst
jaw
possible
cracked
way,
right
just
there.
for him politically, let alone anything else.
Thank you,
Well, I
Crystal.
think people in the right-wing media universe are charlatans, and they exploit their charlatanism to politically
Wait, what?
expedient.
What?
cater
Wait.
to this
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa,
longstanding
whoa,
belief
I'm
that's
talking about Trump
No, listen.
specifically.
Broke, bro.
no, I know,
I'm
I
broken.
got it, but it leads
You-
into Trump.
oh,
Meaning
oh.
there's like
Hear me
a
out, hear me out.
pervasive, ever-present belief within right-wing media circles whom Trump harnesses for political power that there's a pedophilic sex trafficking ring that's perpetually waiting to be uncovered. That's why they were so into
Okay, but that doesn't
QAnon,
explain why he
Pizzagate,
would
and that
then
kind of transferred
say
over
there's
in
no
part
there.
to Epstein. Well, but it explains it in that, like, why did Pam Bondi in that now notorious February 2025
It's another
interview with Fox
liar?
News say she had the Epstein files waiting on her desk? Because there was an incentive within this milieu to dangle the most appetizing little snippets in front of the audience, like the beating heart of right-wing social media and like comment sections
Oh,
always
so they
believes
come
that there's
clean and
that
then they had
the
nothing.
the triumphant anti-deep state warriors in the Trump
Hold on.
administration are finally going to unveil the true heart of evil at the core of elite networks and expose the pedophiles. Cash Patel said, "Put on your big boy pants and tell us who the pedophiles are." And so Bondi was kind of playing into that
Some sweat.
assumption, and she used like imprecise language. Are these people charlatans? You're not getting an argument from me.
Yeah.
I was
You
trying
read
to make
the
this
thing.
argument like last year when they were pumping out this stuff for their own electoral advantage.
Believe
now,
Trump
I will
when
say,
he's a
is
charlatan.
there a
Is he
possibility
answering the question?
No,
that there are
he's not.
some additional materials somewhere
Mhm.
that could be embarrassing to Trump?
Mhm.
Of course, we know that he was a friend of Jeffrey
Wait,
Epstein's for like
what?
15 years. Jeffrey
Right.
Epstein is on tape that was released by Michael Wolff saying, "I'm Donald Trump's closest friend," or "I was his closest friend." Now, could that be puffery by Epstein, who loved to exaggerate
Well, I
his
mean, Trump
influence?
also said he knew him for 15 years. So
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
both of
So I
them
mean,
saying that.
there could be something that is embarrassing on Trump somewhere in the archives
Mhm.
here. That wouldn't be surprising at all. Michael Wolff
Embarrassing, like what?
claims
Pause,
that
man.
Epstein displayed to
Hold on.
him like pictures or Polaroid photos of Trump like sitting around with like topless young women or something. And that there was no claim that those women in the photos were minors, but like Trump was also in these modeling circles. That's how he met Melania,
Mhm.
right? And Epstein also,
Michael, I just got to point out, man. This
Okay, I'll pause it here. It's just like,
So-
what a fucking weird, like, what are you going on about? Oh my god.
So Virginia Roberts lied, and that includes Prince Andrew. But Trump, there's shit. I'm telling you, there's shit on Trump. But believe Trump because he told us there was nothing to look at here. But he's a charlatan at the same time.
No,
Well, what the fuck?
he's Michael
What the?
Tracey is writing theories as to why there's nothing actually there, and it's just a form of embarrassment by the Trump administration. Like, he's just embarrassed by something, which is okay. Isolated, fine. If you want to go with that argument, fine. But
But
he's also
also
telling
said-
us not to actually dig deeper into it too. I think he's kind of making that argument too. Like, don't even dig deeper into it. Like, it's.
But he's
like,
also saying
he's
believe
asserting
Trump.
things. Well, yes.
He's also saying believe Trump.
Yes, he's asserting things. He's asserting things as
look.
being facts. Seemingly.
Trump is a charlatan, but believe him.
It's just a weird, bizarre behavior. I saw this dude chin crack in the middle of all that. I don't know. That's fucking weird to me. Everything I saw right there is fucking weird. It's full sweating around here. Like, what the fuck are you doing, Michael Tracey? The answer should
But
be
Virginia Roberts, don't believe her on any of her accusations. But Trump possibly is the one co-conspirator with Epstein.
let's say Michael Tracey thinks it's all bullshit. His main idea, period, point blank period, should be, hey, release everything you have. And by the way, I don't think he actually answered what Crystal was saying here. I mean, well, a little bit kinda, right? She's like, okay, why would you take back your story then lie about it later? Just say like, oh, Democratic hoax, right? Why would you do that? And Tracy say like, well, there's probably something embarrassing in there. So thus, what your argument is, your main argument is release the fucking shit they have. Like that's an open, blatant lie about the scenario. I'm so glad she fucking asked that because that's the elephant in the fucking room of a question. Like they lied about it, which means either they have something or they're lying and they don't have something, right? Thus, dig into that. That should be where Michael Tracey's at, right? I'm like, hey man, showcase everything, not as a bonus of the scenario, but your actual direct point is like showcase everything so you can see that there is no Pizzagate conspiracy, whatever the fuck theory. Right? That shouldn't be. It's not there because once we get the evidence, it's not there. That should be his actual overall major point. But instead, he's trying to debunk things without that fucking evidence like available for us. You see, like, do you get that? Like, what this guy's doing, what Sweaty Peter Jackson's doing? Like, it's bizarre. It is very bizarre. Why are you going about it that way? Yeah, good.
It's a lunatic. Look, believe the documents, can't see the documents. Okay, Virginia Giuffre, discredit on one thing means discredit on everything. So, why are we... Epstein had no conspirators because Virginia Giuffre lied. Wes Lexer, ignoring that. Why'd Trump lie? I mean,
he's embarrassed.
Trump's right.
No,
Trump lied because he's right, but he's a charlatan, so don't believe him, but believe him. Like, what the fuck, man?
Trump's embarrassed, man. So that's why that is the way it is. It's like it's such a weird thing. He's like, once again, spell checking.
Lunatic, dude.
Well, he's like spell checking Whitney Webb, right? On like stories that don't take away from the actual overall point she's made. He's like digging at like little like spelling errors. It's not spelling errors. It's more like a guy, the way like someone died, right? Using that as like, okay, that's why all your shit is fucking wrong. It's like, that's not good enough, Michael. Where's his mom at, bro? Mom, get in there. Michael, clean your fucking room. I need his mom to do that. I hope she's not dead or anything. I hope she's
probably
alive
is.
and healthy.
No, she's probably there. That's the basement right there.
I just want to say, yeah. Yo, Kyle, take pointers from Crystal. Anyways, here we go.
Pictures or Polaroid photos of Trump like sitting around with like topless young women or something. And there was no claim that those women in the photos were minors, but like Trump was also in these modeling circles. That's how he met Melania.
Is that good enough, Michael? So you want an answer for that, right, Michael? Because that is the actual overall view. Like, okay, answer for this. Why is there claims of a vault where you have pictures of girls on your lap that are butt naked? We don't know their age, but who's the girl? If you know, why is she on? Like, what's the scenario? Like, lay it out for us. But Michael's like, he's claiming he wants answers, but also like saying like, "Yo, shut up about this." At the same time, is he strictly here mad about the way MAGA people are saying things? Is he focusing on like QAnon? Is that like that takes away from the actual topic? Do you think Sugar is QAnon? I don't think so. Do you think Crystal is fucking QAnon? I don't think so. It's like, why not address them? Why are you arguing against the QAnon theories of everything's conspiracy, Democrats, Pizzagate, when you have two people like asking legit questions right to your face? Why are you pivoting to them to like some other fucking theories? Why are you doing that? It's weird,
I've been
right?
pro-Trump through all of this, and I've also been if there's something against Trump here, still make it public.
Yeah.
Nobody's arguing against that.
It's but Dubster, the idea is that they claim they had nothing, right, other than like terabytes of child porn and the video footage they showed us of the jail cell and the phase 1 binders, right? They said that's all we had. That's all we got. Then weeks later, they're like, "All right, we do have more, but it's a Democrat hoax," which means what? They're hiding things.
Why are you asking me about a Democrat hoax?
Well, like for a journalist, right? For a guy who claims to be a journalist, that begs the question, right? Doesn't it? Like
No.
obvious question being begged, right?
Trump, the charlatan, said stop looking into it, so stop looking into it.
He's probably just, he's embarrassed, so that's why he's doing this. And it's like,
so stop looking into it.
By the way, if I brought that up to him in words, he'd be like, "I didn't say that was the case." Like, then what are you asking for here, Michael? What are you asking for? I'm tired of conspiracy theories. But people are like, okay, you're tired of conspiracy theories.
Me too. I want them to stop being theories and we get to know what the fuck happened.
Exactly. Actually, exactly. That is exactly the point. Shouldn't he be asking for, like, okay, release the fucking information? Like, that's the most important thing, period. Either shut up conspiracy theorists or confirm conspiracy theorists. One or the other. Or a mixture of something, right? God, like, no one's this fucking stupid, right? I'm tired of the QAnon MAGA theories about Epstein, but my main point isn't to talk about, like, can we get evidence for this stuff so that I can disprove the QAnon MAGA people. Instead, his actual seemingly, like, point is to showcase, like, it's bullshit. These victims wanted money. Duh. That debunks everything else. That debunks the veracity of their claims.
Is it like
it's weird?
He wants if like in 10 years this finally gets released and
I disagree.
It turns out the way he thinks it. He gets credit and be like, dude, I told you dumbasses.
No, because
is that what he's going for?
Well, maybe, but he has no claim to that yet. There's no real claim to that.
No, but he thinks he does.
I don't know what to do with that. Like, I got nothing.
Or he's betting on that fucking like if you broke this up into categories, it could be Hillary's guilty, Trump's guilty, it's Israel's guilty, and then the bet of it was nothing of any significance at all. He's going with that angle, and he's just like, he's put his money here.
I think it's more likely that you're going to hear someone record this fool saying some shit to them about why he actually cares about this topic. He could actually be like what Alex Jones's theory is, or like, oh, he cares about, like, if we release these names, even though they're not guilty of pedophilia, but these names are released, it'll lead to, the breaking down of society or something like that, bro. Like that at best. That's the theory I leave as possible. Because this does not sound like someone that's scrutinizing the idea. It sounds like he's affirming certain things. Now, he may say, like, well, read the transcript back. I didn't say I confirmed this. I'm just saying these things as possibilities. Like, the way you're going about it looks like confirmation of things. Maybe he's not used to people, like, actually going over this topic and actually, like, leaving things in question. So, like, hey, man, the most important thing is to actually investigate, right? That's worthy of an investigation, right, Michael Tracey? If he said no to that, and he said, oh, you're just a fucking MAGA QAnon guy, Like, well, now you're fully confirming you're full of
I know what
shit
it
on
is.
this.
I know what it is. I figured it the fuck out. Michael Tracey got invited on Lolita Express, and he only raped Virginia Giuffre.
He's got his
And his
sweats
whole
all over the
case
plane.
is, his whole case is that bitch is a liar.
I kind of said that earlier. I'm like, okay, did this guy get like Me Too'd or something? And he's just like, but the evidence isn't out yet, and the accuser isn't out yet. So he's just like, these women lie, bro. They're all lie. They lie. I'm telling you.
There are no other women. There's just Virginia Giuffre.
But him and sweat marks into a couch. He's like, no, it ain't my sweat. This sweaty Peter Jackson. Fuck out of here. All right, let's keep on.
Dude, this dude's sweating, talking. He's sitting down.
Those hair is that those dribbles of
It's
hair
soaking wet,
are
dude. It's soaking fucking wet.
He looks like a 1980s wrestler, bro. I put fucking grease in his hair and shit. All right, let's keep playing. Here we go. I can shit talk. Sorry, Michael. Hey, Michael Tracey, if you see this video, listen, I crack jokes, okay? You look like sweaty Peter Jackson.
Disclaimer, I don't know if you raped Virginia Giuffre.
It looks like you made Lord of the Things. You look like that guy. All right, here we go.
Right, and Epstein also,
Michael, I just got to point out, man, this is the same hearsay that you're indicting the intelligence quote. You're like, oh, Michael Wolff. By the way, Michael Wolff is a fucking serial fabulous. Are we gonna sit here and not say that? He literally made shit up in his book.
Why are you offended,
Fury.
Mike?
Like,
Tracey, why are you
is it
offended?
that the secondhand account here from Michael Wolff?
No, I'm not saying
is
it's
worth.
I need Sugar to be like, okay, Michael Wolff is a serial fabulous, right? Whatever the fuck he said. Do you like the next question should be, do you agree, Michael Tracey? Should be the next question, right? Obviously. But all right, here we go.
But like Trump was also in these modeling circles. That's how he met Melania, right? And Epstein also,
Michael, I just got to point out, man, this is the same hearsay that you're indicting the intelligence quote. You're like, oh, Michael Wolff. By the way, Michael Wolff is a fucking serial fabulous. Are we gonna sit here and not say that? He literally made shit up in his book in Fury. Why is it that the secondhand account here from Michael Wolff?
No, I'm not saying
is
it's
worth
dispositive.
No, but it is. Now you're talking. Oh, he's got photos of topless women.
That's not. It's not.
I'm not
it's
saying
not
it's
hearsay.
dispositive. By the way,
it's not hearsay for Michael Wolff to say I was shown this photo. Like he could testify in court to that. He couldn't testify in court that he was told by somebody that somebody else told him that they spoke to Alex Acosta 2 years prior to that. So it's a different level of hearsay. I'm not saying it's dispositive.
It's reported, yeah, fine. But I'm just saying it's the
Michael
same
Wolff
standard.
has shown that he has recordings of Epstein.
Yeah,
he has hours of tape.
Vicky Ward has multiple quotes on the record from Epstein. Why is she a worse report? By the way, Vicky Ward has 10 times
I'm not
credibility.
claiming that Trump is a sexual predator. I'm arguing against that assumption now that has overtaken these popular assumptions.
The dumb people.
Right.
So I mean,
I'm so smart. They're
I'm not trying to
dumb.
argue that Trump is a sexual predator.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I'm saying you're willing to take hearsay and reporting from other
Trump,
people when it's convenient for your
Here's
point.
the Occam's razor that I tend to use with Trump. Obviously,
True.
he'll just launder whatever bullshit he can to get through a current controversy, and the way that he's handled this issue is really amazing. I mean, now he's like voluntarily bringing it up when he calls into these right-wing like Real America's Voice shows and saying Epstein hoax.
Yeah, we all saw it.
He's disowning his supporters over it. So obviously, I don't know, like, does he have the presence of mind to know how to negotiate this story in a way that is befitting him? Maybe not. I mean, he's 78 years old now. So that could be an explanation. It is interesting to me that never once do you hear Trump express sympathy for the quote unquote victims. Like a traditional politician would say, we sympathize with the victims. They've been through trauma. We're not going to re-traumatize them.
Idiot.
This horrible person, Epstein, was a pedophile and a disgrace and whatever. Like Trump doesn't even make any perfunctory gestures along those lines. He just like goes nuclear now on his own supporters. So is he handling this?
Hold on, Trump.
No, but like I think there are some
stop
more
talking
simple
about.
explanations than that means he's covering up the.
When Trump said quit talking about Epstein, he called him, what was it, despicable or disgusting or something?
Or they fell for Democrats and right.
No, when he said, "Why are you still talking about him?" He called Epstein disgusting or a horrible person or something like that.
Yeah, you call him a creep. I think was the word he
Okay.
used for him. All right, here we go.
To me, that never once do you hear Trump express sympathy for the quote unquote victims. Like a traditional politician would say, we sympathize with the victims. They've been through trauma. We're not going to re-traumatize them. This
And Bondi
horrible
said all
person,
that.
Epstein,
Trump's
was a
statements on
pedophile
any
and
foreign
disgrace and
policy
whatever.
issue.
Like Trump doesn't even make any perfunctory gestures along those
Yeah,
lines.
duh.
He just like goes nuclear now on his own supporters. So is he handling this artfully? No, but like I think there are some, more simple explanations than, oh, that means he's covering up the child rape ring that people accused Democrats.
No one's fucking you, fucking idiot. You're not arguing with those guys. You're arguing with these two. You idiot. Is he that stupid? You're not arguing with the random guy on fucking Twitter. They're not saying that. They're not saying automatically that means that Trump is a pedophile. Is that your whole point? To showcase that Twitter's wrong or something? Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are we talking about at that point? Fuck, bro. What are we doing? Here we go.
Goes nuclear now
ridiculous.
on his own supporters. So is he handling this artfully? No, but like I think there are some, more simple explanations than, oh, that means he's covering up the child rape ring that people accused Democrats of covering
Thank
up,
you for
and now
debunking
Trump
Bob
is
547
following
on
suit. I just
Twitter.
don't find that to be that plausible.
Okay.
All right, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, and let me
Okay, another point. What the fuck?
up the child rape ring that people accused Democrats of covering up, and now Trump is following suit. I just don't find that to be that plausible.
Okay.
All right, Michael. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Okay, and
Thank you
one
both
more
for the
thing.
good
Like,
exchange.
okay, I know this got a little heated, and
That's
it's nothing.
fine. It's
Genuinely
fine.
nothing personal against
Yeah.
Saagar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Same.
I'm waiting for the avalanche of comments denouncing me, and that's fine.
Okay, he's here to defend. Yeah, because the world doesn't get it, Michael, and you do. That's what's happening here. You're so fucking smart and indie and genius. The world doesn't understand your point of view. Get the fuck out of here. Can't believe you just fucking did that at the very end, bro. That's what it smells like. I could be wrong. That's what it fucking smells like. It smells like
He's
he's
just happy to be
praising
sweating
himself.
on camera.
It smells like he's praising himself for being like, yeah, I'm against the curve and I got it right, and these guys get it right. Like, I'm the real thinker. These guys are stupid. Like, that's what it comes off like. I'm like, bullshit. It said nothing of interest to me, actually. Everything you've said in this entire thing says, yeah, let's investigate it. Let's ask for more documents. Which is the already standard point of view, you fucking idiot. It's already the standard point of view. Let's get more documents or information on the fucking case. What the fuck did you just do right now? Nothing. Other than make yourself look fucking stupid.
Oh, hey, did you know
I shouldn't
that
be recording when I'm
Virginia
pissed like this.
Giuffre?
Man.
Did you know that Virginia Giuffre lied about part of what she said?
I don't know that.
Well, now you do.
No, I still don't know that. Like, we went over.
Michael Tracey told you for an hour.
Oh, she settled. That means she, like, everything in life, she's lying. She's a bullshit artist, and if she killed herself, like, who cares? Shrug shoulders. Fuck out of here, man.
Jesus Christ.
He just fucking did that, though, right?
I know. I saw it. I know what you're saying. Yes.
Come on, dude. Fuck. Imagine doing all this work to prove yourself as being intelligent or some shit like that. That'd be so fucking weird. But you're a little weirdo at that point. I hope not. I hope he's just, like, actually this stupid. I hope he's just, like, actually this dumb.
What if Michael Tracey went into one of those groups that was talking about, hey, maybe she didn't kill herself?
No. He's well, there's official documents that say so.
Cry. He would cry, dude.
There's official documents that say so. So that's the case, obviously. It's like, are you here to like trigger people? Are you a fucking distraction? Like, what are you doing here? This is probably the last. Like, I'll be honest with you guys and the audience. This is probably the last time I cover this fool on this topic, because 3 videos, 1 recorded, 1 not recorded. This is my 3rd video on this guy on this topic, and it's like, what's the point? We all we know the answer. The answer is more information, more investigation. Duh. But he wants to tell me about how much money Virginia Giuffre made on a settlement case. Is that good enough for the topic we're talking about? No. It's like, there's no point for this guy. Like, no point for you. Well, guess what? If Michael gets on this on my Discord, right, and he said, like, well, listen, guys, like, there's MAGA people exaggerating what's happening. Okay, so, like, yeah, in a way that's a problem too, I guess. But like, the reason why we're talking about this is to find out what the fuck did happen. You dummy. Yeah, but there's MAGA people lying about this. Okay. Thank you for doing a fucking world tour of your bullshit argument. Is this for money, maybe? I don't know. Because he's such in the other category. He's getting interviews for all of this, right?
He's just happy to be there to sweat on camera, man.
But he's getting traction for his dumb fuck, I guess, argumentation towards this topic, right? He's getting traction for. Is it for money, Michael? Is that what you're doing this for? To make your name in the fucking, headlights now? Are you mad about Whitney Webb and her getting popular off this topic? Are you mad about that or something? What's going on here? What's your real fucking point here? You're asking for the same thing. Hold on. You're asking for the same things that other people are fucking asking for. Right? So what's the problem? Why can't we go over this? I'm tired of the MAGA people saying this about the topic. So? So? Well, Bob547 on Twitter said this. So? So fucking what? Go argue with Bob over there then. Why are you on a show that's not talking about that? Why go on that show and do this? They're not talking about that. They're not Bob547 on fucking Twitter. Go argue with Bob, you idiot. Duh. If that's your actual point. Otherwise, it looks fucking weird. Go ahead, Dubster. This is fucking wreckage. It's wreckage.
So, you know how I say, like, I took debate class in high school and they told us to learn both sides of the debates, and then you practice even what the other side says so you know what's going to come in the debate. That's supposed to make you better at debate.
Good luck with giving them that point of view, but yeah.
Well, no. It also can help you become, what's the bad guy in wrestling called?
The heel?
So you can also become the heel.
He's not good enough for that. Look the fucking fool. You're not good enough for that shit, bro. Fuck out of here.
You're mad enough to watch this through 3 fucking times.
Out of curiosity. Now I'm like, I'm done with him. I'm done. It's like, each one, like, actually up the ante. I'm like, this guy's full of shit. Or he's like a weirdo or something. Like, he's a weirdo. Each time I heard him more and more. Now I'm like confirmed, like, okay, you should not be talking about this topic, bro. Like, move on to something else. Actually move on. But yeah, yo, Michael, like, we did it yesterday, right? Where, like, I do have questions that I can ask to make sure it doesn't, like, just leap full-blown into Pizzagate territory or whatever the fuck, right? Even I'm not even dismissing Pizzagate, by the way. I'm just saying, like, we should get, like, some standards of argumentation. I agree.
Right.
Michael Tracey's not saying that, is he? He's saying like, well, maybe she's a gold digger. I'm like, I'm not. What the fuck are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? She could be. What the fuck does that have to do with Leslie fucking Wexner? What does that have to do with the administration not like giving us information? Nothing. So then why the fuck are you making those arguments for those cases? Why are you doing that with that? Makes no fucking sense to me. In fact, you're probably creating more people being like suspicious of things. Like we saw him being accused of like, oh, are you a part of this? Yes, that can happen, Michael. When you're like leaning in this direction so fucking harshly, where it's like, why are you working this hard to block this case from being like looked at? I won't fall for that shit, but others will, most likely. Me personally, I'm saying you're too stupid for this topic. So let's skip Michael Tracey and go to someone else. That's my opinion.
Well, let's also put out the dumb fucking statement of Virginia Giuffre accused Alan Dershowitz of getting massages on Epstein's plane, and Dershowitz responded with, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I never took my underwear off." Then, I guess I don't even know for sure.
Well,
Virginia Giuffre, according to Michael Tracey, retracted her accusations against Alan Dershowitz and got paid for it. He's still accused of being at massage parlors,
regardless of what court filing said.
Lolita,
yeah,
right?
You have his words out
Of
loud.
Lolita Express, and then at least puts himself at the scene, but says I kept my underwear on.
What, Dubster, what do you think Michael's answer would be for that? What do you think? If you had to guess, like, or if you have one, like, what would you think this guy would say to that? I kept my underwear on thing. Yeah, good.
Alan Dershowitz wasn't under oath when he said he kept his underwear on.
So he made it up, Michael? Is that what he did, Michael? He made it up?
Hey, did you hear that Virginia Giuffre killed herself?
And she was having domestic issues, and I mean, she did it for money, but she also killed herself because of domestic issues.
You know what? Let's talk about Lex Wex. I'm ready to answer your question on Lex Wex.
Those, like, here's the thing. Those aren't things to be ignored at all. It's just like the way he argues it is like trying to dismiss the thing that the other person is saying. Like he's like trying to like he actually brought up the Me Too movement. He brought that up as an argument. I kid you not. He brought that up. Like, well, you know, the Me Too thing was going around, and hey, you right wingers don't like that, right? So like, why accept this one, huh? What's going on? Like trying to like badger them or peer pressure them into. It's weird. That's a weird way to go about things, especially considering the circumstances and the seriousness of the case. It's like a weird way to do that. It's like, what's wrong with you, bro? Why are you sweating so hard? What's going on? Fucking weirdo.
I like how his response to being accused of defending the Warren Commission was, wait, you don't believe the Warren Commission?
Maybe that was bait by Sugar, by the way. That could have been bait in a way. Like, bring that up to like hear his answer on that stuff. But I would have went with OJ personally. That'd be my choice. The court filings say he's innocent. Where's your arguments
Then at least all the black people can beat him up.
All right. Let's end this here. It's, once again, insulting to my intelligence. And once again, you can say like, well, like I would guess that Michael would say like, hey, read the transcript of the video you just watched. Huh? What did I say exactly? Like, come on, dude. We're people. Right? A cop can't just like crack your fucking face in. But if you say the wrong thing, he might crack your fucking face in because it's a person dealing with a person. Duh. It isn't all court filings and official rules and shit like that. People deal with people the way people deal with people. And if you don't leave room for that, you'll end up reading court documents saying, like, well, clearly Virginia Giuffre admitted that no one was guilty and she's a gold digger because she took the money. That's what you end up with. And that is not good enough.
Yeah, if we read the transcript of this fucking video, it's gonna say Trump was right, but he's a charlatan.
Actually, yeah. But it's like, it's basically don't trust your lying eyes type of thing, is what Tracey's doing throughout all of this. It's very subversive the way he's doing it, too. It's like, it's almost like full of shit debate bro shit, where it's like your side of the argument is absolutely wrong, but you're forcing any direction to make a case for it, so that when you run into something that actually like makes your argument look bad, you kind of avoid it in a weird, different way. We just did a video on Mayor Pete, where he's like kind of avoiding the actual question being asked, because if he answered it directly, it'll look bad. And I think Michael Tracey did the same fucking shit. Like a little sweaty weirdo. But anyways, there's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. There's a lot here. It's a long video. And actually, I like that. It's a long video with a lot of opinions and video footage. Although maybe our pause sections when we pause the video, maybe not the best, but it's natural.
You're gonna play out
It's
Michael
not
Tracey
bullshit.
to Kanye West.
It's either pause it or not understand anything because we're talking over a video. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, shit happens when you're just like naturally like, yo, what the fuck you just say? Hit rewind, pause it. Right, that's natural for me at least. So
right,
like it is what it is, guys. Like whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, tell me in the comments what you think. Anything, please say your opinion. Don't forget to check out the links in the description box, either the donations for charity or the new Discord I made. If you want to join that, please do so. All links in the description box. And obviously, and of course, with all that said, please give this video a thumbs down. Yeah.